Welcome, thrill seekers and ghost story enthusiasts, to another spine-chilling episode of our Haunted Tales series. Tonight, we embark on a journey through the eerie remnants of once vibrant amusement parks across the United States. These forgotten playgrounds, now abandoned and decaying, hold stories of joy turned to sorrow, laughter replaced by whispers, and the echoes of a time when the thrill of the ride was all-consuming. So, dim the lights, settle in, and prepare to be transported to the most haunted amusement parks in the U.S. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, nestled in the rolling Appalachian foothills of Princeton, West Virginia, is a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural converge. Opened in 1926, the park was a lively destination for families seeking fun and entertainment in an era when amusement parks were a rare treat. The grounds were filled with laughter, the scent of popcorn, and the excitement of rides that spun and swung under the sun. Yet beneath its cheerful exterior, the land itself carries a far darker story. Long before the park's gates welcomed children and families, the area was inhabited by the Shawnee tribe, and local legends speak of conflict, bloodshed, and restless spirits tied to the land. This history, combined with more recent tragedies, has created a reputation for Lake Shawnee as one of the most haunted amusement parks in America. The park's legacy was forever changed in the 1950s by the deaths of two young children. Their untimely and tragic accidents cast a shadow over Lake Shawnee, and the grief-stricken community ultimately contributed to the park's closure in 1966. Since then, the amusement rides and grounds have been left largely untouched, their skeletal structures slowly succumbing to time and nature. The Ferris wheel stands as a silent sentinel over the park, its rusting frame outlined against the sky, while the swing ride remains motionless, frozen as if waiting for passengers that will never return. Despite the absence of life, the park has drawn countless visitors, thrill seekers, and paranormal investigators, all eager to explore its eerie atmosphere and investigate the reports of ghostly activity. One of the most frequently reported phenomena at Lake Shawnee involves sightings of ghostly children near the old rides. Visitors often describe seeing small figures darting among the Ferris wheel and swing ride, their laughter faint but unmistakable. These spectral children appear to be playing, running along the overgrown paths, and climbing on structures as though the park's accidents never occurred. Many who witness these figures report a sense of both sadness and wonder, as if the echoes of innocent play are trapped in time. The ghostly children are said to vanish suddenly, leaving behind only the faint sound of giggles or the feeling of being watched. In addition to visual sightings, auditory experiences are a major part of Lake Shawnee's haunted reputation. Guests frequently report hearing disembodied laughter, the squeak of swing chains moving on their own, or the soft creak of the Ferris wheel turning, despite no visible wind or human presence. Some visitors have reported footsteps following them along empty walkways or faint whispers drifting through the trees. These sounds are often accompanied by a sudden chill, a sensation that some describe as a physical presence brushing past them. Such experiences are so consistent among different visitors that they have become a central element of the park's haunted lore. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Lake Shawnee, attempting to document the strange occurrences. Using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging, they have captured anomalies that align with eyewitness accounts. Shadowy figures sometimes appear near the Ferris wheel or swing ride in photographs, while audio devices record faint voices or laughter that cannot be explained by natural sources. Cold spots, areas where temperatures drop inexplicably, are often reported near the old rides and pathways. While skeptics argue that environmental factors, overgrown vegetation, and the park's decay might explain some phenomena, the sheer consistency of reports over decades suggests that there is something uniquely unsettling about the grounds. The history of the land adds another layer of complexity to the hauntings. Long before the park existed, the Shawnee tribe occupied the area, and legends speak of violent conflicts and sacred grounds disturbed by later settlement. Some researchers and locals believe that the land itself carries residual energy from those events. creating a kind of spiritual imprint that interacts with the park's more recent tragedies. Visitors occasionally report that the feeling of being watched is strongest near particular areas of the park, hinting at layers of history converging in a single space. The combination of Native American heritage, the tragic deaths of children, and the abandoned amusement park creates a unique and chilling environment that continues to fascinate those who venture there. Walkways, seating areas, and the spaces surrounding the rides are often described as having a different energy. A visitor might feel compelled to pause mid-path, sensing a presence just beyond vision. Shadows seem to move at the edge of the eye, and laughter or whispers echo unexpectedly in areas that appear completely empty. Even during the day, the park exudes a quiet tension, a sense that the joyful sounds of the past still linger in the air. At twilight, when shadows stretch long across the rusting rides and overgrown paths, the spectral activity seems to intensify, drawing those attuned to subtle sensations into the park's eerie rhythm. Lake Shawnee continues to attract thrill-seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and photographers who are captivated by the combination of history, decay, and unexplained phenomena. The abandoned park, with its silent rides and overgrown paths, offers a glimpse into a place suspended between memory and the supernatural. Those who explore its grounds often leave with stories of ghostly children, inexplicable sounds, and a lingering sense of connection to events long past. Despite its haunted reputation, Lake Shawnee remains a poignant reminder of innocence lost and history unforgotten. The Ferris wheel and swing ride, standing motionless under the Appalachian sky, serve as sentinels to a past that is both joyful and tragic. Ghostly laughter, fleeting figures, and the echoes of a bygone era continue to remind visitors that some places, no matter how long abandoned, never truly let go of the lives and experiences once held within their boundaries. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park endures as a place of mystery, a haunting intersection of history, tragedy, and the supernatural that continues to captivate the imagination of all who wander its grounds. Six Flags New Orleans stands today as a ghostly reminder of a city that once celebrated life and excitement. Originally opened in 2000 as Jazzland, the park promised thrill and entertainment for families, with roller coasters, spinning rides, and lively attractions that reflected the vibrant culture of New Orleans. By 2003, the park was acquired by Six Flags and rebranded, bringing in popular themed rides, colorful mascots, and a schedule full of events that drew visitors from across the region. The park's atmosphere was one of joy and energy, a place where the laughter of children and the excited screams of riders blended with the sounds of carnival music and the buzz of the city nearby. All of that changed in August 2005 when Hurricane Katrina struck New Orleans with devastating force. Floodwaters overwhelmed the park, submerging rides, structures, and pathways beneath several feet of water. The damage was extensive. Roller coasters were twisted and corroded, ticket booths floated away or were destroyed, and much of the park's electrical and mechanical systems were ruined beyond repair. Six Flags officials initially considered reopening, but the sheer cost of repairs and the ongoing crisis in the city made that impossible. The park was closed indefinitely, and it has remained abandoned ever since, left to decay beneath the humid Louisiana air. Today, the park is silent except for the occasional groan of metal succumbing to rust, the creak of rides swaying slightly in the wind, or the distant echo of carnival music carried on the breeze. The once colorful structures are now faded, with paint peeling and signage cracked or missing entirely. Roller coasters loom like skeletal remains over the property, their tracks rusted and their cars stuck in midair as if frozen in time. The carousel is broken, some of its horses toppled and shattered, while the Ferris wheel leans slightly, a silent sentinel watching over the empty park. Nature has begun reclaiming the land. Vines creep over fences, and small trees sprout along walkways and in ride platforms. Despite its abandonment, Six Flags New Orleans has become a focal point for urban explorers and paranormal investigators. Visitors often report strange phenomena that defy explanation. Many describe sudden temperature drops in certain areas, where the air feels heavy and cold despite the summer humidity. Others recount a persistent feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes are following their every move. Some explorers have claimed to hear distant laughter, faint screams, or the low hum of carnival music echoing through the decaying structures, even though no one else is present. The haunted reputation of the park is partly tied to its sudden and violent abandonment. Some believe that the spirits of people who worked or visited the park before Katrina remain trapped in the area, unable or unwilling to leave. Others suggest that the energy of the hurricane itself left a permanent imprint, a residual haunting that manifests as strange sounds, shifting shadows, and unexplained sensations. Paranormal investigators have recorded eerie audio phenomena, including whispers, distorted laughter, and unidentifiable voices, often in areas near the roller coasters or the old concession stands. Photographs sometimes reveal orbs of light or shadowy figures lurking in corners where nothing should be visible. The park's roller coasters are particularly notorious among those who explore the site. The Mega Zeph, a wooden coaster, towers above the rest of the park, its tracks warped and splintered by the floodwater. Witnesses have reported hearing the distant sound of rails creaking as though a train is running, or the faint echo of riders' screams that seem to come from nowhere. Similarly, the Batman, the ride roller coaster, with its steel tracks and inverted loops, has been a hotspot for strange sightings. Explorers claim to have glimpsed figures on the tracks, vanishing when approached, and some say they've felt sudden, inexplicable jolts or pulls, as if the ride itself were trying to start again. Concession stands and walkways are no less unsettling. Old ticket booths appear frozen in time, with abandoned pamphlets fluttering in the wind. The food stands are broken and empty. Yet some visitors report smelling the faint aroma of popcorn or cotton candy as they walk past. Pathways that were once filled with families now lie cracked and overgrown. Yet there are stories of fleeting figures, sometimes children, sometimes adults moving quickly just out of sight. The laughter that sometimes carries across the park is often described as high-pitched and manic, echoing eerily against the hollow structures. The parks, parking lots, and surrounding areas add another layer to the haunting. Vehicles left behind after the hurricane have long since deteriorated, some partially submerged in water or overgrown with weeds. Explorers report feeling sudden chills near these areas, and some have seen shadowy figures moving among the rusted cars, vanishing when approached. Many describe an oppressive atmosphere, a feeling of tension and unease that lingers long after they leave the property. Despite its eerie reputation, Six Flags New Orleans continues to draw attention, not just from thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts, but also from photographers, historians, and those fascinated by urban decay. The park serves as a reminder of the destructive power of natural disasters, the impermanence of human creation, and the lingering presence of history in places we often overlook. Every rusted ride, every overgrown path, and every abandoned structure tells a story of joy interrupted by tragedy, of life abruptly halted and left to fade into silence. Some locals warn against venturing too deeply into the park, citing both physical dangers and the unsettling energy that seems to cling to the area. Others view it as a place of fascination, a liminal space where the living can glimpse the past, and where the echoes of Katrina and the spirits of those who once walked the grounds still linger. Those who dare to explore report a mix of awe and unease, often leaving with lingering chills, an increased awareness of the unseen, and stories of encounters that cannot easily be explained. Six Flags New Orleans remains a place caught between past and present, life and death, memory and decay. It is a park where the echoes of laughter are entwined with the shadows of loss, where metal groans under its own weight, and where the energy of a violent storm seems to have left a permanent imprint. For those who enter, it is both a haunting and a reminder, a monument to what once was, a testament to what was lost, and a space where the veil between the living and the restless feels just a little thinner. Ghost Town in the Sky, perched high atop Buck Mountain in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, was once a vibrant homage to the Wild West, where visitors could step back in time and experience life as it might have been in a frontier town. Opened in 1961, The park featured a sprawling layout of wooden storefronts, saloons, and staged streets that recreated the charm and danger of the Old West. The park was accessible via a chairlift or a funicular railway that carried guests up the mountainside, offering breathtaking views of the Blue Ridge Mountains. The ride itself became an integral part of the experience, building anticipation as the forest gave way to the bustling streets of a bygone era. During its heyday, Ghost Town in the Sky attracted families and tourists seeking both entertainment and adventure. Actors dressed as cowboys and pioneers roamed the streets, engaging in staged shootouts and reenactments of historical events. Guests could pan for gold, watch can-can dancers perform, and try their hand at carnival games that dotted the wooden boardwalks. The town was alive with the sounds of laughter, the clatter of horse-drawn carriages, and the occasional crack of a gun during carefully choreographed shows. Children's faces would light up at the sight of the park as small roller coasters and carousel rides, while parents enjoyed the novelty of a mountaintop amusement park set against a backdrop of rolling green hills. Despite its popularity, the park faced challenges over the years. Harsh weather conditions on Buck Mountain took a toll on the structures, and operational costs rose as maintenance became increasingly difficult. By the 1990s, Ghost Town in the Sky had closed its gates, leaving behind the skeletal remains of what had once been a bustling attraction. The chairlift and funicular railway stopped running, their rusting cables a testament to decades of abandonment. Buildings that were once painted in bright colors now stood faded and peeling, with roofs sagging under the weight of neglect and mountain storms. As the park fell into disrepair, stories of ghostly encounters began to surface. Visitors and urban explorers who ventured into the abandoned park reported a range of unsettling experiences. Some claimed to see ghostly figures moving among the wooden storefronts, dressed in cowboy attire as if still performing for an invisible audience. Others reported hearing faint voices echoing through the empty streets, carrying the unmistakable cadence of old Western shootouts, or the laughter of children who had once enjoyed the rides. The sounds were often localized near areas that had been central to the park. As entertainments, such as the saloons or the Stage 4 staged gunfight setting, an eerie layer of authenticity to the experiences. The chairlift and funicular railway, once symbols of excitement and convenience, became points of particular intrigue for those seeking paranormal activity. Many who approached these structures reported sudden drops in temperature, feelings of dread, and the sensation of being watched. Some claimed to hear the faint whirring of the chairlift or the distant clatter of the funicular moving along its track, despite no machinery operating for decades. Shadows flitted near the cables and towers, visible only in the corner of the eye, and sometimes inexplicable lights appeared along the tracks, disappearing as quickly as they had materialized. Inside the park, the buildings themselves seemed to carry memories of the past. The saloons, once filled with music and chatter, now stood empty, yet explorers reported hearing the distant strumming of guitars or the clinking of glasses. The old sheriff's office and jail, both central to the staged Wild West scenes, were reported as particularly active. Visitors have described cold spots, the sound of chains rattling, and fleeting glimpses of figures behind barred windows. The carousel, now stripped of paint and missing several horses, sometimes seemed to turn slowly on its own, accompanied by the faint sound of old music that could not be traced to any source. The park's ghost town streets, lined with shops and wooden sidewalks, became a place where past and present seemed to overlap. Some reported that shadows moved against the sun's direction, or that footsteps followed them even when they were alone. The scent of wood smoke or campfire occasionally filled the air, though no fire had burned in years. Objects sometimes appeared displaced, as if unseen hands had moved them, a hat left on a railing, a chair tipped over without explanation, or a stage prop subtly altered. Even the natural environment seemed to participate in the haunting. Mountain winds carried strange echoes, bouncing the faint sounds of laughter, shouting, and gunfire through the trees. Fog often rolled in suddenly, obscuring entire sections of the park and making the structures appear to float in the mist. Birds and animals behaved unusually, sometimes fleeing without cause, adding to the sense that something beyond the ordinary lingered on Buck Mountain. Paranormal investigators have been drawn to Ghost Town in the Sky for decades, documenting phenomena with cameras, audio equipment, and thermographic devices. Many have captured unexplained anomalies, shadowy figures, glowing orbs, and audio recordings of voices and footsteps that have no apparent source. The park's history of entertainment, combined with its sudden abandonment and mountain isolation, has created a rich tapestry for these manifestations, blurring the line between legend and reality. Despite its decline, Ghost Town in the Sky continues to fascinate those drawn to the mysteries of abandoned places. It stands as a monument to a bygone era, preserving not only the vision of a Wild West amusement park, but also the echoes of its lively past. Its weathered buildings, rusted rides, and empty streets hold the memories of joy, excitement, and tragedy, offering visitors a glimpse into a space where time seems to have stopped. For those who dare to explore, the park offers more than a lesson in history, offers an encounter with the unknown. The laughter of children, the shouts of cowboys, and the faint strains of old Western music sometimes rise from the shadows, as if the park itself refuses to forget its past. Ghost Town in the Sky remains a haunting reminder that even the most joyful places can carry sorrow and mystery, and that the spirits of entertainment, adventure, and life can linger long after the crowds have gone. Discovery Island, a small island nestled in the waters of Bay Lake near Orlando, Florida, was once a unique attraction that blended wildlife education with the charm of a private zoological park. Opened in 1974, the island offered visitors a rare opportunity to experience exotic animals up close while surrounded by the lush Florida landscape. Guests could stroll along winding paths lined with exotic birds, primates, and other creatures, enjoying the carefully curated habitats that showcased wildlife from around the world. For decades, the island was a quiet retreat from the bustling energy of nearby Disney World, offering families a chance to connect with nature in a serene and immersive environment. The park was designed to feel like a self-contained world. Wooden bridges and observation decks provided views of exotic waterfowl gliding across the lake, while hidden feeding areas allowed visitors to watch animals interact naturally. Trails meandered through dense foliage, revealing small ponds, aviaries, and enclosures that made the island feel larger than it was. Special events and guided tours educated visitors on animal care and conservation, and children delighted in seeing creatures they had only read about in books. For a generation, Discovery Island offered both wonder and tranquility, a space where families could step into a world apart from the theme parks that dominated the region. However, by the late 1990s, Discovery Island faced mounting challenges. Maintaining the diverse collection of animals and their habitats required significant resources, and changing visitor preferences began to favor larger, more interactive theme parks. In 1999, Disney closed the island permanently, relocating its animals and leaving the island to the elements. With no staff to care for the grounds, the carefully maintained trails and buildings quickly fell into disrepair. Nature began reclaiming the space, with vines wrapping around observation decks, trees breaking through paths, and water eroding structures along the lake's edge. The abandoned island soon developed a reputation for being unsettling. Visitors and urban explorers who managed to access the island reported a strange atmosphere of stillness, as if time itself had stopped. Buildings that had once been filled with animal feed, educational exhibits, and visitors now sat empty and decaying. Windows were broken, doors hung crookedly on their hinges, and the paint peeled from every surface. The quiet was profound, interrupted only by the occasional rustle of wildlife reclaiming the territory and the whisper of wind through the overgrown vegetation. Many who ventured to Discovery Island described experiences that went beyond the natural eeriness of abandonment. Some reported seeing shadowy figures moving along the overgrown pathways, figures that would vanish when approached. Others spoke of hearing footsteps echoing through empty buildings, though no other human presence could be detected. The sounds were sometimes accompanied by faint whispers or the distant calls of birds, creating an uncanny impression that the park was not as empty as it seemed. The isolation of the island, surrounded by water and accessible only by boat, amplified these sensations, leaving visitors with a sense of vulnerability and heightened awareness. The main observation center, once a hub of educational activity, became one of the most frequently cited areas for paranormal phenomena. Visitors reported hearing doors creak open and close, the faint scrape of furniture moving, or the echo of hurried footsteps in hallways long abandoned. Some explorers claimed to see figures standing at windows, silhouetted against the remaining light, only to find the spaces empty when they drew near. The combination of decay, isolation, and the lingering energy of the island's history created an environment that seemed charged with unexplained activity. Trails that wound through the island's habitats were no less eerie. Formerly pristine walkways were now cracked and overgrown, with fallen signs and rotting wooden posts scattered among the foliage. Explorers occasionally reported glimpsing the shapes of animals long removed, their forms faintly visible in the corner of the eye, or hearing the soft rustle of feathers and the chattering of primates in areas where no creatures lived. The atmosphere suggested that the island retained echoes of its past, as if the memories of both visitors and animals had imprinted themselves upon the land. Even the lake surrounding Discovery Island contributed to its haunting ambience. Fog often rolled across the water in the early morning or late evening, obscuring the decaying structures and making the island appear to float in a ghostly veil. The sound of water lapping against the shore, once comforting, now carried a sense of isolation and unease. Boats approaching the island often reported a sudden drop in temperature, a breeze that seemed unnatural, and the eerie feeling of being observed by unseen eyes. Photographers and paranormal enthusiasts have documented numerous unexplained phenomena on the island. Shadows that move independently of natural light, flickering lights in empty rooms, and strange orbs captured on camera are among the more common reports. Some claim to have captured audio recordings of faint animal noises or footsteps in areas that have long since been abandoned, lending an unsettling sense of continuity between the island's vibrant past and its present decay. Despite the warnings and the sense of unease, Discovery Island continues to fascinate those drawn to abandoned places. Its juxtaposition of natural beauty and creeping decay, combined with reports of paranormal activity, makes it a unique site for exploration. Visitors come not only to witness the reclamation of the island by nature, but also to sense the lingering traces of life, energy, and memory that refuse to fade completely. The story of Discovery Island serves as a reminder that even places built for joy and education can become haunting when abandoned. The trails, buildings, and observation points, once filled with laughter and learning, now stand as monuments to impermanence. The island's overgrown ruins tell a story of nature reclaiming human endeavor, while the mysterious sightings and sounds suggest that some part of the island's past may linger, watching, waiting, or perhaps simply remembering. For those who venture to Bay Lake and glimpse the decaying structures of Discovery Island, the experience is both beautiful and unsettling, a silent narrative of life, decay, and the unseen presence that haunts the island still. Land of Oz, perched on the slopes of Beech Mountain in North Carolina, was once a whimsical retreat where the beloved story of the wonderful Wizard of Oz came to life. Opening in 1970, the park was designed to immerse visitors in the magic of L. Frank Baum's classic tale. Families could stroll along the yellow brick road, marvel at facades painted in emerald and gold, and follow a path that promised adventure, laughter, and a touch of fantasy. Costumed performers brought characters like the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion to life, creating an enchanting atmosphere that delighted children and adults alike. The park's setting added to its charm. Beech Mountain, with its cool summer air and scenic views of the Blue Ridge Mountains, provided a natural backdrop that made the fantasy world feel almost real. Winding trails led visitors from one attraction to the next, including the famous Emerald City, which served as the centerpiece of the park. Carefully constructed bridges, small shops, and staged homes dotted the paths, and music from the story played through hidden speakers, filling the air with melodies that transported guests into Bohm's imaginative world. For a decade, Land of Oz offered a perfect escape from reality, a place where magic seemed tangible and worries faded along with the yellow brick road. Despite its popularity, the park struggled with operational and financial challenges. High altitude weather often damaged the delicate facades, and the costs of maintaining both the structures and the performers proved burdensome. By 1980, Land of Oz closed permanently, leaving behind a partially completed dreamscape and a collection of structures exposed to the elements. With no caretakers, the magic of the park faded, and nature began to reclaim the land. Wooden railings rotted, painted surfaces peeled and cracked, and the carefully constructed roads became cracked and overgrown with weeds. Today, the yellow brick road is still visible, though now broken in places and covered by moss and tall grass. The Emerald City stands as a weathered monument to the park's past glory. Its green-painted facades faded and splintered, and its doors hanging loosely on rusted hinges. Bridges sag under the weight of time, and empty buildings once filled with shops and exhibits are now silent and decayed. What was once a cheerful, colorful world now exudes a haunting atmosphere, where the bright charm of fantasy has given way to an eerie sense of abandonment. Visitors who venture to the remains of Land of Oz often report unusual experiences. Many speak of a pervasive sense of unease, a feeling that the magic of the park has not entirely faded, but has taken on a more unsettling form. Some claim to see shadowy figures moving along the yellow brick road, or glimpses of performers dressed as the story's characters wandering among the ruins. The figures often disappear when approached, leaving only the sound of creaking wood, rustling leaves, and the occasional whistle of wind through broken windows. Others describe feeling sudden chills, as if invisible eyes are watching, particularly near the Emerald City and along the elevated walkways that wind through the property. The abandoned buildings themselves hold an uncanny presence. Shops that once sold trinkets and refreshments are now filled with debris, yet visitors sometimes report hearing faint footsteps, the scraping of objects moved unseen, or muffled laughter echoing from empty rooms. Music, once cheerful and lively, is occasionally described as faintly audible, though no source exists. The combination of decay, isolation, and the lingering essence of the park's former energy creates an atmosphere that many find both mesmerizing and unsettling. The yellow brick road, central to the park's layout, seems to be a conduit for some of the most unusual experiences. Explorers have reported seeing brief flashes of movement along the path, glimpses of color that vanish when observed directly, or footprints appearing in soft moss where no one has walked. Some claim the road itself seems to lead visitors deeper into the ruins, as if subtly guiding them past familiar areas and toward parts of the park that have become increasingly overgrown and treacherous. The sense of being guided, whether by memory or something unseen, contributes to the park's reputation as a site where reality and fantasy blend in eerie ways. Even the surrounding mountain environment adds to the haunting ambience. Mist often rolls down the slopes in the early morning or late evening, obscuring broken facades and making the Emerald City appear as though it floats in the fog. Wildlife sometimes moves unexpectedly, startling visitors and adding to the feeling of unpredictability. The high elevation amplifies sounds, so a falling branch or distant animal call echoes strangely through the empty streets, further intensifying the perception that the park is alive with unseen activity. Photographers and urban explorers are drawn to Land of Oz not only for its decayed beauty, but also for the strange phenomena reported by those who enter. Images occasionally capture unexplained shadows, blurred figures, or faint lights among the ruins. Audio recordings sometimes pick up faint whispers, laughter, or footsteps that cannot be traced to a visible source. Whether these occurrences are products of imagination, residual energy, or something more mysterious, they have cemented Land of Oz as one of the most intriguing abandoned theme parks in the United States. Despite the passage of decades, Land of Oz continues to inspire fascination. Its overgrown yellow brick road, crumbling Emerald City, and spectral figures serve as reminders of a world that once sought to enchant and entertain. For those who walk its ruins, the experience is a blend of nostalgia, wonder, and unease, a place where the boundary between fantasy and reality feels thin. Even in decay, the park tells a story of ambition, joy, abandonment, and lingering presence, preserved in weathered wood, moss-covered bricks, and the whispers of the past. Land of Oz stands as a haunting testament to imagination caught between past and present, where the echoes of laughter and the silhouettes of familiar characters persist, inviting the living to glimpse a world that refuses to vanish completely. Its yellow brick road may be broken, its emerald city faded, but the spirit of the park endures, lingering among the ruins, waiting for those brave enough to follow the path and confront the mysteries that remain. Chippewa Lake Park, located in Barberton, Ohio, was once a bustling amusement destination that drew visitors from across the region. Established in 1887, the park evolved over decades from a simple picnic area into a full-scale amusement park, complete with rides, games, and attractions that delighted families for generations. Its lakeside setting provided a picturesque backdrop, with gentle waves reflecting the colors of carnival lights and adding to the sense of escape from the everyday world. Over the years, Chippewa Lake Park became a beloved destination, where the sound of laughter, the clatter of rides, and the scent of popcorn and cotton candy defined summer weekends. At the heart of the park was the carousel, a vibrant centerpiece that enchanted visitors with its hand-painted horses, elaborate chariots, and the soft, melodic music of the calliope. Children would ride the carousel in wide-eyed wonder, parents smiling as the music and motion created a sense of timeless joy. Other attractions, including Ferris wheels, roller coasters, and fun houses, filled the park with energy and excitement. Games of skill and chance lined the walkways, offering prizes and thrills, while food stands provided classic amusement fare. For decades, Chippewa Lake Park was a place of laughter, celebration, and shared memories, its charm rooted in both its rides and the sense of community it fostered. Despite its popularity, the park faced challenges in the 1970s, rising operational costs, changing entertainment preferences, and competition from larger amusement parks contributed to declining attendance. By 1978, Chippewa Lake Park closed its gates for the last time, leaving behind a collection of rides, buildings, and memories that would slowly fade into the surrounding landscape. Unlike some abandoned parks that are quickly demolished, Chippewa Lake Park remained largely intact, allowing nature to reclaim the land over time. The carousel, now stripped of paint and wood-worn by weather, stands as a silent reminder of the park's vibrant past, while the remnants of roller coasters, food stands, and walkways remain scattered across the property. As the park fell into disrepair, reports of paranormal activity began to surface. Urban explorers and local residents have described strange occurrences that seem to echo the park as former life. Many have reported hearing carnival music drifting through the trees, faint and haunting, as though the calliope itself continues to play for an unseen audience. Shadowy figures have been spotted near the carousel or along the walkways, often disappearing when approached, leaving only an unsettling sense that the park is not entirely abandoned. Footsteps, laughter, and whispers are frequently reported, with no source in sight, adding to the park's reputation as one of Ohio's most haunted amusement sites. The carousel is perhaps the most infamous of these haunted attractions. Visitors have reported seeing spectral riders seated on the horses, frozen in time but illuminated by a strange, otherworldly glow. Some have felt cold brushes along their arms or shoulders as they pass, as if the energy of past visitors lingers in the air. Investigators using audio and video equipment have captured unexplained sounds, faint music, distorted laughter, and voices calling out names or urging people to ride. The carousel's motion is said to feel oddly familiar at times, with some claiming that the horses seem to tilt or rock slightly, though no mechanics are operating. Other areas of the park are similarly charged with unexplained phenomena. The old roller coaster tracks, now rusted and overgrown, sometimes appear to creak as if a train were passing, while figures have been seen climbing the stairs to rides that no longer function. Walkways that were once filled with families now seem alive with invisible presence. Footsteps echoing in empty spaces, and the occasional gust of wind carrying the faint scent of food and laughter. Even the lake itself contributes to the park's eerie atmosphere. Mist rising from the water often creates ghostly shapes, and distant echoes seem to bounce across the surface as though carrying the memories of past visitors. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Chippewa Lake Park, using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging devices. They have documented phenomena that defy explanation. Shadowy forms appear in photographs, unexplained sounds are captured on recordings, and temperature fluctuations are frequently noted in areas near the carousel and old concession stands. Some believe these occurrences are residual hauntings, the energy of the park imprinted on the land, while others speculate that the spirits of past visitors or workers remain drawn to the location by the memories embedded in its structures. The park's overgrown nature adds to the haunting ambience. Trees and vines grow through broken fences. Wind whistles through the decaying buildings, and moss and grass creep over concrete and asphalt. What was once a bright and lively space is now a mixture of beauty and decay. With the juxtaposition of natural reclamation and the remnants of human construction creating a surreal atmosphere, visitors often describe a sense of walking through time, encountering echoes of the past in both sight and sound. Despite the decay and haunting stories, Chippewa Lake Park remains a compelling destination for those interested in abandoned spaces, paranormal investigation, and local history. Photographers capture the juxtaposition of rusted rides and creeping vegetation, while explorers seek the thrill of encountering the unexplained. The park's abandoned structures, combined with reports of ghostly activity, make it a place where memory and mystery coexist, offering a glimpse into a once vibrant amusement park that refuses to be forgotten. Chippewa Lake Park is a testament to the passage of time, the impermanence of human endeavors, and the lingering power of memory. Its carousel, rides, and walkways, though weathered and broken, continue to tell stories of joy, tragedy, and the unseen presence that seems to remain. For those who visit the park, is more than an abandoned amusement site. It is a place where the past continues to echo, where the laughter and music of former visitors are never entirely gone, and where the spirit of Chippewa Lake Park lingers, haunting the land it once enlivened. Village Gardens, a historic amusement park in Denver, Colorado, has been a cherished part of the city's cultural landscape since its founding in 1890. Originally located near downtown Denver, the park was a hub of entertainment for generations of families, offering roller coasters, carousels, theaters, and gardens that captivated visitors with their charm and energy. For over a century, Village Gardens provided a space where the sounds of laughter, the clatter of rides, and the melodies of calliopes mingled in the warm summer air. Children and adults alike were drawn to the park's attractions, which ranged from thrilling roller coasters to gentle rides for the youngest guests, making it a cornerstone of Denver's social life. The park's original location was unique, combining the natural beauty of landscaped gardens with the excitement of amusement rides. Visitors would stroll along tree-lined pathways, enjoying the colorful flowers, fountains, and open lawns, before venturing into the more exhilarating sections filled with rides and attractions. The combination of natural splendor and engineered thrills created a magical atmosphere where families could spend the entire day exploring and enjoying the park's offerings. Seasonal events and performances at the park's theaters added to the allure, drawing crowds for concerts, plays, and exhibitions. Over the years, Village Gardens became a place of memory and tradition. Multiple generations returned year after year, celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions within the park's lively environment. Rides like the old wooden roller coaster were particularly iconic, offering both thrill and nostalgia. The coaster's creaking tracks and wooden supports became familiar sounds to parkgoers, creating a sense of continuity and anticipation with each ride. Similarly, the carousel and other classic attractions held a timeless charm, their music and motion capturing the essence of the park's enduring spirit. Despite its popularity, the park faced challenges in the late 20th century. Urban development and logistical constraints prompted a relocation, and by 1994, the original site of Elitch Gardens was permanently closed. Many of the rides and structures were moved to the new location, while others were dismantled or left behind. The once thriving grounds near downtown gradually transformed into a parking lot, the gardens erased and pathways replaced with asphalt. Yet, even as the physical traces of the park diminished, the memories and stories associated with the old site persisted, and tales of hauntings began to emerge among former employees, visitors, and urban explorers. Reports of paranormal activity at the old Elitch Gardens site have become part of local lore. Several former employees have recounted experiences that defy logical explanation. Some describe seeing apparitions resembling past visitors or staff walking among the old ride areas, their figures translucent but unmistakably human. Others have reported hearing the familiar creak of roller coaster tracks, the laughter of children, or the distant music of a calliope. Even though all physical rides and attractions are long gone, these occurrences are often concentrated near areas that once housed the park's most popular rides, particularly the wooden roller coaster, which seems to hold a persistent presence despite its removal. Visitors who explore the site today sometimes describe an unsettling feeling, as if the energy of the old park lingers beneath the pavement. Sudden chills, feelings of being watched, and fleeting glimpses of movement are commonly reported. Shadowy forms are said to appear near the edges of the lot, vanishing when approached, while disembodied voices or laughter are occasionally heard, drifting across empty parking spaces. The contrast between the mundane, modern use of the area and the echoes of the past creates a unique tension, leaving some with the impression that the park itself refuses to be forgotten. The roller coaster, in particular, seems to retain a strong imprint on the landscape. Witnesses report that even without the physical structure, they can hear the rhythmic clatter of wooden tracks and the screams of riders. Some have claimed to see translucent figures climbing the imaginary stairs, their hands gripping invisible rails as though still preparing for a ride. The sound of the ride starting, reaching its peak, and plunging downward has been described with startling clarity, as if the roller coaster's essence has been embedded into the site itself. Other attractions and areas also contribute to the haunted reputation. The former carousel area is often cited as a focal point for unexplained sounds, with faint music and the imagined movement of horses, reported by several witnesses. Theaters and concession stands, though long removed, are said to produce echoes of past activity. Footsteps on creaking floors, whispers from unseen performers, or the subtle hum of conversation that no longer exists. The persistence of these phenomena has led paranormal investigators to explore the site, capturing audio anomalies, shadowy figures, and temperature fluctuations in areas once central to the park's operations. Even the mundane aspects of the site seem infused with memory. Trees that survived the park's closure sway in the wind, casting shadows that appear human or animal. Pavement cracks, old foundations, and patches of grass occasionally seem to guide or obscure movement, heightening the sense that the past lingers just beneath the surface. For those who remember the park in its heyday, these subtle cues evoke nostalgia mixed with unease, a reminder that places once filled with life can retain an echo of that life long after it has ended. Though Elitch Gardens has moved to a new location and continues to operate, the original site remains a point of fascination for both history enthusiasts and those interested in the paranormal. Its stories, memories, and reported hauntings serve as a testament to the enduring impact of places that shape communities, entertain generations, and leave an imprint on the collective consciousness. The parking lot that replaced the park may appear ordinary at first glance, but for those who listen closely, the sounds of laughter, music, and rides seem never far away. Elitch Gardens' original grounds offer a haunting reminder that even when physical structures disappear, the energy, memories, and stories associated with a place can endure. From the echoes of roller coaster tracks to the faint figures of past visitors, The old park remains alive in a spectral sense, bridging the gap between history and the unexplained. For those who visit the site today, it is a space where the past quietly asserts itself, where the thrills and joys of generations past linger just beneath the surface, and where Illich Gardens' original magic can still be felt, even if only as a ghostly presence. Kings Island, located in Mason, Ohio, is widely known for its thrilling rides, expansive grounds, and seasonal events, particularly the popular Halloween haunt that draws crowds each fall. While the park is celebrated for entertainment and excitement, it also has a lesser-known reputation for paranormal activity. Over the years, visitors, employees, and paranormal investigators have reported unsettling experiences that suggest a lingering presence beyond the thrill of roller coasters and carnival lights. Among the most commonly cited stories is that of the ghostly figure known as the Tram Girl, a mysterious apparition that appears near the park's tram stops, as well as an eerie sensation of being watched in various areas of the park. The legend of the Tram Girl has persisted for decades. According to accounts, she appears as a young woman in period clothing, often standing silently near the tram stations where guests board or disembark. Some witnesses describe her as pale and ethereal, almost translucent, while others recall her expression as vacant or sorrowful. She is said to vanish suddenly when approached, leaving only a cold breeze or an uneasy feeling behind. Many of those who claim to have seen her report that the area near the tram stops feels unnaturally quiet and still, as though the normal hum of the park has been muted. Some even describe hearing faint whispers or footsteps echoing across the pavement, though no one else is present. Beyond the tram stops, certain sections of Kings Island seem to carry a palpable sense of being observed. Visitors often mention an unexplained feeling of eyes following them, particularly near older rides and less trafficked areas of the park. Some report sudden drops in temperature or a sense of heaviness in the air, sensations that heighten the unease. Employees working night shifts, especially those maintaining rides or walking the grounds after hours, have reported hearing footsteps or voices when no one else is around. Some have even recounted catching glimpses of fleeting shadows or indistinct figures moving through areas that should be empty. Several rides and attractions have been focal points for reported paranormal activity. The tram stations are naturally associated with the Tram Girl, but other areas, such as walkways near older sections of the park, show unusual phenomena as well. Reports include hearing the distant hum of machinery or the faint sound of children laughing in areas where rides are inactive. In some cases, audio recordings made by investigators capture unexplained sounds that cannot be attributed to wind, animals, or human activity. Photographs occasionally show odd orbs of light or shadows where none should exist, adding to the park's mystique. The history of Kings Island may contribute to its reputation for haunting. Opened in 1972, the park has seen millions of visitors and countless employees over the decades. The energy of such a heavily trafficked space, combined with isolated areas, old structures, and periods of renovation, creates an environment where legends and sightings can thrive. While some explanations point to the human imagination, stress, or fatigue as factors, others believe that certain areas of the park carry residual energy from past events, visitors, or workers. The phenomenon of the Tram Girl is often cited as a form of residual haunting, a repeating impression left on the landscape and experienced by those who pass through. Visitors describe the feeling of entering these areas as stepping into a liminal space. Walkways and open areas that seem normal during the day may feel entirely different after hours, or when the crowds thin. Shadows appear deeper, sounds are amplified or strangely muted, and the air seems charged with an unexplainable tension. Some explorers report sudden chills or goosebumps as they walk, followed by fleeting glimpses of movement out of the corner of their eyes. Even in the absence of visual sightings, the feeling of being watched or accompanied is persistent and unnerving. The park's seasonal Halloween events only enhance its mysterious reputation. During Halloween haunt, Kings Island is intentionally designed to evoke fear, with mazes, scares, and dramatic lighting. While most frights are artificial, some visitors report that the experience occasionally intersects with the park's unexplained phenomena, shadows moving independently, sounds appearing from nowhere, or sensations of presence seem amplified during the darkened hours, blurring the line between performance and reality. For some, the thrill of a haunted attraction is intensified by genuine encounters that cannot be fully explained. Paranormal investigators have documented and studied Kings Island for years, using cameras, audio equipment, and temperature sensors. They have captured incidents that defy straightforward explanation. Shadowy figures appear on security footage. Unexplained footsteps are recorded on empty walkways. And temperature fluctuations are common near the tram stops and older ride areas. Investigators often describe the park as a hotspot for residual energy, suggesting that repeated human activity over decades may have left imprints that continue to manifest. Despite the unsettling stories, Kings Island remains a place of fun and excitement, and most visitors experience nothing out of the ordinary. Yet the accounts of the tram girl and other unexplained sensations have become part of the park's lore, whispered among staff, enthusiasts, and thrill seekers. The combination of history, atmosphere, and isolated areas creates fertile ground for paranormal speculation, ensuring that these tales persist alongside the park's celebrated attractions. Whether the stories are the product of imagination, residual energy, or something beyond the ordinary, Kings Island holds a unique place in the landscape of haunted amusement parks. The tram stops, walkways, and shadowed areas invite curiosity and caution, blending history, thrill, and the unknown. For those who visit, the park offers both entertainment and a subtle, lingering reminder that sometimes the echoes of the past remain, watching from the edges of our vision. The tram girl and the sensations of unseen presence ensure that Kings Island is remembered not only for its rides and seasonal events, but also for the mysteries that continue to intrigue and haunt its visitors. Cedar Point, located on the shores of Lake Erie in Sandusky, Ohio, has earned its reputation as the roller coaster capital of the world. With a history dating back to 1870, the park has long been a destination for thrill seekers, families, and tourists from across the country. Its sprawling grounds feature dozens of roller coasters, rides, and attractions, combining adrenaline-pumping excitement with the nostalgic charm of a classic amusement park. But amid the laughter, screams, and clatter of steel, Cedar Point also harbors a darker, more mysterious side. Over the years, visitors and employees alike have reported unusual occurrences, strange sensations, and unexplained sounds, most notably surrounding the park's oldest roller coaster, the Blue Streak. The Blue Streak, a wooden roller coaster that opened in 1964, has been a staple of Cedar Point for decades. Its towering structure and classic design embody the golden age of wooden coasters, drawing thrill seekers eager for the creaking ascents and twisting drops that define its charm. Yet for some riders, the experience is more than just adrenaline, comes with a sense of unease that has earned the coaster a reputation for being haunted. Known as the Blue Streak Ghost, the spirit associated with the ride is said to manifest in subtle but unmistakable ways, leaving riders with the impression that they are not alone. Reports of encounters with the Blue Streak Ghost often describe sudden chills that descend during the ride, usually near the lift hill or the first drop. Riders have said that these cold spots are accompanied by an unshakable feeling of being watched, as though unseen eyes are tracking their every movement. Some recall hearing whispers, indistinct but urgent, carried over the roar of the coaster. Others describe fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure along the track or in the surrounding support beams, vanishing as quickly as it appears. These experiences are often shared among riders who are seated in different cars, suggesting that the sensations and sightings are not simply the result of imagination or adrenaline. Employees at Cedar Point have corroborated some of these accounts, sharing their own strange experiences around the Blue Streak. Maintenance workers have reported hearing the sound of footsteps echoing along the track when no one is present, or noticing tools displaced after being carefully set aside. Some have claimed to feel a sudden drop in temperature while working on the coaster, accompanied by the faint impression of a presence standing nearby. Security personnel patrolling the area after hours have recounted hearing faint whispers or glimpsing figures moving just beyond the perimeter of their vision, only to find the space empty when investigated. The origins of the Blue Streak ghost are largely unknown, which only adds to the aura of mystery surrounding the coaster. Some speculate that the spirit may belong to a former park employee or an early rider whose life ended tragically, leaving a lingering imprint on the structure. Others suggest that the energy of the coaster itself, the thousands of screams, laughter, and emotional highs experienced over decades, has somehow been absorbed and manifested as a residual haunting. Whatever the cause, the phenomenon has become part of Cedar Point lore, passed down through staff and visitors who share their experiences with curious newcomers. Paranormal investigators have taken an interest in the Blue Streak, drawn by the reports of unexplained activity and the consistency of the sightings. Using audio equipment, cameras, and thermal imaging, investigators have documented anomalous phenomena in the coaster's vicinity. Shadowy forms appear on security footage, sometimes near the lift hill or along support beams, where no human presence is possible. Audio recordings occasionally capture whispers, the clatter of footsteps, or creaking that cannot be attributed to mechanical operation. Temperature anomalies are frequently noted, with sudden drops in isolated sections of the ride, aligning with the experiences reported by riders and employees. The haunting is not limited to the Blue Streak alone. Other parts of Cedar Point have also been associated with ghostly activity, particularly in older buildings and less trafficked areas of the park. Faded structures, abandoned equipment, and neglected corners seem to attract stories of unexplained phenomena. Guests have reported feeling an odd sense of presence while walking past historic sections of the park, hearing noises that vanish when investigated, or seeing fleeting figures in their peripheral vision. These accounts, while less documented than the Blue Streak reports, contribute to the park's reputation as a place where history, excitement, and the unexplained coexist. Visitors who experience the Blue Streak ghost often describe a mix of fear and fascination. The thrill of the coaster is intensified by the eerie undertones, transforming a standard amusement ride into an unforgettable encounter. Some embrace the stories as part of the park's charm, sharing them with friends and family as a thrilling anecdote. Others find the experiences genuinely unsettling, leaving them with a lasting impression that lingers long after the ride has ended. For those who are drawn to the paranormal, Cedar Point offers a unique blend of adrenaline and mystery, where the line between excitement and fear is blurred by the presence of the unexplained. Even in the daytime, when the park is alive with laughter and the sound of rides, there is an atmosphere around the Blue Streak that seems distinct. The aged wooden supports, worn tracks, and echoes of countless rides over decades contribute to a sense of history that is both tangible and intangible. For those sensitive to subtle energies, the ride may feel alive in a way beyond the mechanical, carrying the memories, emotions, and stories of generations of visitors. Cedar Point remains one of the most celebrated amusement parks in the world, attracting thrill seekers and families year-round. Yet beneath the excitement, the park harbors a layer of mystery that adds depth to its legacy. The Blue Streak ghost, with its whispered presence, chilling sensations, and fleeting apparitions, is a reminder that even in places designed for fun and entertainment, the past can linger in unexpected ways. For those brave enough to ride the coaster or explore the park's older sections, Cedar Point offers not only thrills, but a connection to a hidden history, one that continues to haunt, intrigue, and captivate visitors decades after the first ride. Busch Gardens Williamsburg, located in Williamsburg, Virginia, is widely celebrated for its blend of European-themed villages, thrilling rides, and seasonal attractions. Founded in 1975, the park quickly became a popular destination for families seeking both entertainment and an immersive cultural experience. Visitors can stroll through recreated villages representing England, France, Germany, and other European nations, sampling traditional food, enjoying live performances, and exploring carefully designed architecture. During the day, the park is alive with laughter, music, and the clatter of rides. However, beyond the festive atmosphere, Busch Gardens Williamsburg has developed a reputation for something far more mysterious. Employees and visitors alike have reported paranormal activity, hinting at a hidden, eerie side to the popular amusement park. The earliest reports of unusual occurrences at Busch Gardens began with employees working late shifts, long after the crowds had gone home. Maintenance workers and security staff often recount hearing footsteps echoing through empty streets and pathways where no one was present. Sometimes these footsteps sound deliberate, as if someone is pacing, while other times they are fleeting and indistinct. The echoes seem to travel across the themed villages, bouncing off cobblestone streets and ornate facades, creating the unsettling impression that the park is alive with unseen visitors. Other staff members have shared stories of objects moving inexplicably. Concession carts, props, and even tools have been reported to shift or fall without explanation. In some cases, doors open or close on their own, often accompanied by a sense of cold air or a faint draft. Employees working in the German or England villages, particularly in storage areas or behind-the-scenes corridors, have described moments where they felt watched, as if invisible eyes were tracking their movements. These reports, while often subtle, accumulate to create a sense of unease for those who spend time in the park after hours. The park's haunted reputation is most widely recognized during the Halloween season, when Busch Gardens transforms parts of the park into elaborate haunted attractions. While these seasonal events are staged for entertainment, many employees claim that the eerie ambience seems to awaken or amplify the park's existing paranormal energy. During the Halloween season, stories of apparitions, disembodied voices, and sudden temperature drops become more frequent. Some staff members report seeing fleeting shadows dart between attractions or glimpses of figures in costumes that do not match the performers currently working. Even when the Halloween decorations are removed, the residual sensations sometimes remain, leading to speculation that the park holds lingering energy from its long history. One area frequently mentioned in these accounts is the old roller coaster zones and behind-the-scenes maintenance corridors. Employees maintaining the rides after hours have reported unexplained mechanical noises, such as the whirring of engines, the clatter of safety chains, or the hiss of brakes, even when the rides are completely powered down. In some instances, workers have heard what sounds like the laughter of children near abandoned walkways or empty queue lines. These auditory phenomena often coincide with sudden drops in temperature, giving the sensation that someone or something is moving unseen through the park. Photographers and paranormal enthusiasts who have explored the park after hours have occasionally captured anomalies on camera. Shadowy figures, orbs of light, and unexplained reflections appear in photographs and video footage, often in areas considered mundane during operating hours. Audio recordings have similarly captured strange noises, footsteps, murmured voices, and even faint laughter that cannot be attributed to human activity. These recordings frequently originate in sections of the park that are rarely visited by guests, suggesting that the phenomena are linked to residual energy rather than the presence of other people. Some employees have described specific experiences with more tangible manifestations. In the France and Italy-themed areas, workers have reported the sensation of being lightly touched by invisible hands while walking along empty streets. Others have noted objects, such as trash bins or benches, moving slightly when no one is nearby. Even the wind seems to behave unusually in certain spots, carrying faint sounds of conversation, music, or laughter from areas that should be silent. These occurrences have led some staff to refer to certain zones of the park as active or haunted, particularly those with older buildings or complex backstage infrastructure. The cumulative effect of these experiences has made Busch Gardens a focal point for local legends and ghost stories. While many visitors never witness anything unusual, those who have been present during strange events often describe a profound sense of being observed or followed. Even subtle experiences, like the sudden feeling of cold, an unexplained sound, or the fleeting glimpse of a shadow, can leave a lasting impression, shaping the park's identity as a place where history, energy, and the unexplained converge. Paranormal investigators have occasionally visited the park, documenting a range of phenomena that appear consistent with employee accounts. Using thermal cameras, audio recorders, and other tools, investigators have captured cold spots, sudden noises, and unexplained shadows. Many of these incidents seem concentrated in older sections of the park, particularly in backstage areas, maintenance corridors, and locations near decommissioned rides. While skeptics argue that stress, imagination, or the ambient noises of an operating park could explain some reports, the consistency and specificity of the experiences suggest that something unusual persists at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. For visitors and employees alike, the combination of themed architecture, quiet corners, and extensive behind-the-scenes areas creates an environment ripe for both the imagination and possibly unexplained activity. The experience of walking through empty streets, past intricate facades, and under towering rides after hours can evoke a sense of isolation and heightened awareness. Those who are sensitive to such atmospheres often report heightened feelings of unease or the perception of unseen observers, further reinforcing the park's reputation as a haunted location. Despite the stories and sightings, Busch Gardens Williamsburg remains one of the premier amusement destinations in the United States. Its blend of thrill rides, cultural theming, and seasonal entertainment attracts thousands of guests each year. Yet, for those who work behind the scenes or explore the park after hours, the sense of lingering presence adds an extra layer of intrigue. Whether the sounds of footsteps, shifting objects, or fleeting shadows are the result of paranormal energy or simply imagination, they have become an inseparable part of the park's character. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is not only a place of excitement and spectacle, it is also a location where mystery and the unexplained quietly persist, waiting for those attentive enough to notice. Knott's Berry Farm, located in Buena Park, California, is widely recognized as one of the country's premier amusement parks. Known for its thrilling rides, themed attractions, and annual seasonal events. Since its humble beginnings as a berry farm in the 1920s, it has grown into a sprawling entertainment complex, combining the charm of a historic western town with the excitement of roller coasters, water rides, and immersive themed areas. While the park is celebrated for its family-friendly fun and high-energy attractions, it also carries a darker, more mysterious side. Over the years, Knott's Berry Farm has been the subject of numerous reports of paranormal activity, particularly around the Ghost Town section and the historic Calico Mine Ride. The Ghost Town area of Knott's Berry Farm was designed to replicate a frontier town from the Old West, complete with wooden storefronts, saloons, and dusty streets. Visitors can stroll along Main Street, watch reenactments, and explore the town's buildings, all while experiencing a sense of immersion in the 19th century frontier. However, many who have spent time in Ghost Town, especially after hours, have reported experiences that go beyond the ordinary. Footsteps echoing along empty streets, the sound of doors creaking open and closed without explanation, and occasional faint voices have been reported by employees and visitors alike. The atmosphere, particularly during quiet periods or in dim lighting, can feel unnervingly alive, as if the town itself retains memories of the past. One of the most famous stories involves the so-called woman in white. Sightings of this ghostly figure are most often reported near the Calico Mine Ride, a historic attraction that takes guests on a journey through intricately themed underground mine tunnels. Witnesses describe a woman dressed in flowing white clothing, her features pale and indistinct, sometimes appearing near the ride's entrances or in the surrounding area. Many who have seen her claim that she vanishes when approached, leaving behind only a chill in the air or the feeling of being observed. Some suggest that she may be tied to the history of the area, while others believe she could be a residual presence, connected to the attraction itself, a lingering imprint of a person who spent time in the park decades ago. The Calico Mine Ride, with its dark tunnels, mechanical sounds, and detailed sets, has long been a focal point for paranormal accounts. Employees working maintenance or cleaning shifts after the park closes have reported hearing footsteps echo through the tunnels, the clatter of tools, or the faint creaking of carts moving along tracks that should be stationary. In some cases, lights have flickered, and machinery seems to operate briefly on its own, though no power is active. Visitors occasionally report the feeling of being watched while riding the attraction, or a sudden drop in temperature that chills the air around them, enhancing the sense of otherworldly presence. Other parts of Ghost Town are similarly associated with unexplained phenomena. Saloon doors swing open on their own, shutters rattle despite calm weather, and faint, indistinct laughter or conversations have been heard when no guests are present. The architecture and wooden construction of the buildings can naturally amplify sounds, but many witnesses insist that the noises they experience cannot be attributed to normal park activity. Employees walking the streets alone after dark sometimes feel an unshakable impression that they are being followed, glimpsing shadows at the edge of their vision that vanish when directly observed. Knott's Berry Farm, as haunted reputation, is amplified during the annual Knott's Scary Farm event, while the seasonal scares are intentionally theatrical. The combination of decorations, costumed actors, and eerie lighting seems to awaken or intensify the park's paranormal energy. Some staff and visitors report that during Scary Farm nights, sightings of the woman in white and other unexplained occurrences increase. Shadows move more distinctly, disembodied voices carry through the streets, and objects occasionally shift on their own, while the park's Halloween events are designed to frighten. These reports suggest that certain areas of the park may hold residual energy or entities beyond staged entertainment. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts have been drawn to Knott's Berry Farm because of its blend of history, architecture, and consistent reports of unusual activity. Using cameras, audio recording devices, and thermal imaging equipment, investigators have documented anomalies in the Ghost Town area and near the Calico Mine ride. Shadowy forms appear in photographs. Audio captures footsteps and faint whispers, and cold spots are frequently detected in locations associated with sightings of the woman in white. While skeptics may attribute some occurrences to imagination or ambient noises, the consistency and specificity of the reports lend a degree of credibility to the park's haunted reputation. Even outside of formal investigations, employees continue to share their experiences. Many describe an odd energy in the Ghost Town section, a subtle but persistent feeling of being watched, or the inexplicable movement of objects during quiet hours. Some have reported encountering fleeting figures in period clothing, while others recount hearing laughter or conversation where no one is present. For those familiar with the park's history, the combination of old architecture, theatrical lighting, and decades of human activity may create a fertile environment for paranormal impressions to manifest. Visitors who explore Ghost Town or ride the Calico Mine ride often leave with stories of strange sensations or fleeting glimpses of movement, experiences that linger long after they leave the park. Even during daylight hours, the ambience of the historic section can feel different from the rest of the park, hinting at a past that is both celebrated and quietly mysterious. The wooden buildings, detailed props, and layered history seem to preserve echoes of earlier days, allowing them to manifest in subtle ways to those attuned to their presence. Knott's Berry Farm, while celebrated as a lively and entertaining amusement park, holds a hidden side where history, architecture, and unexplained phenomena intersect. The Ghost Town area, with its saloons, storefronts, and dusty streets, preserves memories that some claim continue to manifest, from ghostly figures to disembodied footsteps. The Calico Mine ride, as a particularly active focal point, embodies the park's most enduring legends, with sightings of the woman in white capturing the imagination of visitors and staff alike. These stories, whether interpreted as residual energy, spirits, or unexplained phenomena, have become part of Knott's Berry Farm's identity. A reminder that even places designed for fun and excitement can hold mysteries waiting to be noticed. Universal Studios Hollywood, located in Universal City, California, is renowned for its combination of thrilling rides, immersive themed attractions, and behind-the-scenes glimpses into the film industry. Established in 1964, the park has grown into a sprawling entertainment complex, drawing millions of visitors annually to experience its roller coasters, simulators, and movie sets. While the park is celebrated for adrenaline-pumping attractions like Revenge of the Mummy and Jurassic World: The Ride, it also harbors a darker, lesser-known side. Over the years, numerous reports have surfaced of paranormal activity in the park, particularly in its older sections and around attractions with a long history, suggesting that Universal Studios Hollywood may be more than just a theme park, may also be a place where the unexplained lingers. The Revenge of the Mummy ride, a hybrid roller coaster and dark ride, is one of the park's most popular attractions. It combines high-speed thrills with elaborate theming based on ancient Egyptian tombs and supernatural curses. While the ride is designed to scare and entertain guests, some visitors have reported experiences that extend beyond the intended thrills. Accounts include sudden chills, inexplicable feelings of being watched, and the sensation of movement beside them in areas of the ride where no other guests are present. Though much of the attraction's fear factor is staged, these experiences suggest a lingering presence that cannot be explained by special effects or ride mechanics alone. Beyond the themed scares, reports of paranormal activity focus largely on the older areas of the park, including sections of the original studio lot and early attractions that predate modern expansions. Visitors and staff have described seeing apparitions in hallways, walkways, and backstage areas where filming equipment and props are stored. Shadowy figures are often reported moving just beyond peripheral vision, vanishing when directly observed. Some witnesses claim to hear faint footsteps echoing through empty corridors, the soft murmur of voices where no one is present, and doors opening or closing without explanation. These incidents have occurred both during regular operating hours and after the park closes, suggesting that the unexplained activity is not limited to the presence of crowds. Employees, particularly those who work behind the scenes on maintenance or security, have recounted encounters that add to the park's eerie reputation. Some have reported sudden cold spots in otherwise warm areas, an inexplicable heaviness in the air, or a sense of being watched while performing routine tasks. In certain locations, props and equipment have been observed to shift or fall without explanation, though no one was near them. Backstage storage areas, older sound stages, and the original studio facilities are frequently cited as the locations where these phenomena occur most often. Many of these experiences are fleeting but leave a lasting impression, reinforcing the idea that the park carries an unseen history. The history of Universal Studios Hollywood contributes to its reputation as a haunted location. As a working studio since the early 20th century, the lot has hosted countless productions, bringing thousands of actors, crew members, and visitors over decades. The combination of intense activity, long hours, and emotionally charged environments may have created residual energy that manifests as paranormal phenomena. Some theorists suggest that the apparitions and unexplained sounds are echoes of past events, a form of residual haunting that repeats over time. Others speculate that spirits of former employees or performers linger, drawn to locations they frequented in life. The older studio areas are particularly prone to reported phenomena. Walkways once bustling with crew members now feel deserted, and empty sound stages often carry the sensation of unseen movement. Lights occasionally flicker, footsteps echo unnaturally, and sudden cold drafts occur in rooms that are otherwise sealed. Even in public areas, visitors have reported catching glimpses of figures that appear to wear period clothing or vintage studio attire, suggesting a connection to the park's long history. Some witnesses describe these figures as moving deliberately, while others appear passive, observing the living with a silent intensity. In addition to visual sightings, auditory phenomena are frequently reported. Faint whispers, the sound of doors opening and closing, and distant music are often heard where no source can be identified. Some visitors to Universal Studios Hollywood have reported hearing the echo of dialogue from long ago productions, as if past performances are somehow replaying in ghostly form. These sounds often coincide with a sensation of unease or the feeling that someone unseen is nearby, heightening the impression that the park contains layers of activity beyond the ordinary. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts have explored the park extensively, documenting unusual occurrences with cameras, audio equipment, and thermal imaging devices. Shadowy forms appear in photographs, often in backstage areas or along older walkways. Audio recordings capture whispers, footsteps, and faint sounds of machinery when none is active. Thermal imaging sometimes reveals unexplained cold spots that seem to follow certain hallways or rooms. While skeptics may attribute these experiences to imagination, environmental factors, or sound reflection, the consistency of reports from both visitors and employees suggests that something unusual persists in certain areas of the park. Even during normal operating hours, some visitors report an inexplicable feeling of being observed while navigating older sections of the park. The combination of aging structures, extensive history, and the residual energy of decades of production may create an atmosphere where the unexplained can manifest. Guests who take behind-the-scenes tours sometimes note a subtle tension or chill, describing the sensation as different from the more predictable thrill rides or staged scares. Universal Studios Hollywood remains one of the premier entertainment destinations in California, celebrated for its rides, shows, and cinematic history. Yet for those who venture beyond the surface, the park reveals a quieter, more mysterious side. The Revenge of the Mummy ride and the older studio areas serve as focal points for reported paranormal activity, where cold spots, apparitions, and unexplained sounds remind visitors that the park is layered with history and mystery. For those willing to notice the subtleties, Universal Studios Hollywood offers not only excitement and spectacle, but also a haunting glimpse into the unseen, where the energy of the past continues to linger among the rides and sound stages. Dorney Park, located in Allentown, Pennsylvania, is one of the country's long-standing amusement destinations. With a history stretching back to the 1880s, over the decades, it has grown from a simple picnic and recreational area into a sprawling amusement park, complete with roller coasters, water rides, and family attractions. The park is known for its mix of thrill rides and traditional amusements, drawing crowds from across the region to enjoy a day filled with excitement, laughter, and nostalgia. Yet beyond the festive atmosphere and bustling crowds, Dorney Park holds a more mysterious side. Over the years, visitors and employees have reported experiences suggesting that the park may be haunted, particularly near its oldest rides and quieter sections where echoes of the past seem to linger. The oldest rides at Dorney Park, many of which date back decades, have been the focal point for most paranormal reports. Wooden roller coasters, classic carousels, and smaller vintage rides that have survived renovations and expansions carry a sense of history that some claim is palpable. Witnesses often describe seeing ghostly figures near these attractions, sometimes appearing as faint shadows or translucent forms moving along the tracks or in surrounding areas. Riders on these attractions occasionally report feeling sudden chills or inexplicable touches, accompanied by a sense that they are being watched by an unseen presence. These experiences are not limited to after-hours. Some have occurred during regular park operation, blending the ordinary thrill of a ride with a moment of inexplicable unease. Employees who work the park late into the evening or during maintenance shifts often recount eerie occurrences. Footsteps echoing through empty pathways, doors opening and closing without cause, and the sensation of being followed are common themes in these accounts. Maintenance workers, in particular, report hearing noises inside ride structures or in storage areas that cannot be explained by mechanical operation or natural creaks of the wooden framework. In some cases, tools have been found moved from their original positions, despite being carefully stored, suggesting that some unseen presence may interact with the environment. Security personnel patrolling the grounds after closing frequently share stories of fleeting shadows or figures moving just beyond the edge of their vision. Dorney Park's age and layered history contribute to its reputation for hauntings. The park has been a site of amusement, community gatherings, and countless memories for over a century. Such a long-standing presence, combined with the daily comings and goings of thousands of visitors, is thought by some to leave residual energy, manifesting as ghostly impressions or sensations. Some theorists believe that the apparitions and strange occurrences are echoes of past visitors or employees, replaying familiar patterns in a residual form. Others suggest that certain areas, especially those associated with older rides, may harbor the lingering spirits of individuals connected to the park and life. Visitors frequently report auditory phenomena as part of their experiences. Faint footsteps, whispers, and distant laughter are often heard in areas that should be quiet, such as along empty pathways or near decommissioned rides. In some cases, these sounds appear to follow the listener, moving closer or fading away unexpectedly. Others have described hearing mechanical noises, creaks, rattles, or the hum of motors emanating from rides that are inactive, giving the impression that the park itself is alive with unseen energy. These auditory experiences, combined with sudden temperature drops and the feeling of unseen observers, contribute to the park's haunted reputation. Photographers and paranormal enthusiasts have occasionally captured anomalies at Dorney Park, further fueling speculation. Shadowy figures, faint lights, and unexplained reflections have appeared in photographs and video footage, particularly around older rides and quiet sections of the park. Audio equipment has picked up anomalous noises, and thermal imaging devices have detected cold spots in locations with a history of reported activity. While skeptics may attribute these phenomena to imagination, environmental factors, or structural acoustics, the consistency and repetition of reports over decades make Dorney Park a site of enduring intrigue for those interested in the paranormal. Certain rides and areas seem to attract more attention than others. The oldest roller coasters, with their wooden supports and exposed tracks, are often cited as the most active sites. Riders describe sensations of being brushed by unseen hands or sudden changes in temperature during the ride. Carousels and other classic attractions occasionally seem to move slightly when no one is nearby, or visitors notice lights flickering in a way that cannot be explained. Even pathways between attractions, particularly in less frequented corners of the park, are described as having a subtle, unsettling energy, where shadows appear more distinct and sounds carry differently. Dorney Park's history is also reflected in its architecture and landscaping. Older buildings, maintenance sheds, and storage areas provide environments where light, shadow, and sound can interact in unusual ways, creating opportunities for both visual and auditory anomalies. Employees often report moments where a simple glance down a long, empty hallway or across a deserted ride platform triggers a sudden sense of unease. In these moments, even the most familiar parts of the park can feel strange and otherworldly. For visitors, the experience of encountering these phenomena varies widely. Some are startled by sudden chills, glimpses of shadowy figures, or faint sounds, while others feel a more subtle presence, a sense that the park is aware of their movements. Stories of ghostly activity have become part of the park's lore, shared among families, thrill seekers, and those with an interest in the supernatural. These tales add an extra layer of intrigue to a park already rich in history and entertainment. Dorney Park remains a vibrant amusement destination, celebrated for its rides, attractions, and seasonal events. Yet alongside the laughter, screams, and bright lights, a quieter, more mysterious energy persists, particularly near its oldest rides and quieter areas. From ghostly figures and unexplained sounds to cold spots and fleeting shadows, the park offers a unique blend of thrill and mystery. Visitors and employees alike often leave with stories that linger long after they have departed, a reminder that Dorney Park is more than a collection of rides and attractions. It is a place where history and the unexplained quietly coexist, echoing through the amusement park for over a century. Hershey Park, located in Hershey, Pennsylvania, is famously associated with chocolate, family fun, and an array of thrilling rides. Established in 1906 by Milton S. Hershey as a recreational area for his employees, the park has grown into a sprawling amusement destination featuring roller coasters, water attractions, themed areas, and entertainment venues. Its candy-inspired theming, from chocolate-scented paths to whimsical rides, makes it a uniquely immersive experience for visitors. Yet beneath the cheerful atmosphere and the laughter of families, Hershey Park has long carried a more mysterious, unexplained presence. Over the years, guests and employees have reported a variety of paranormal experiences, particularly near older rides and in the park's quieter corners, suggesting that the spirit of the past continues to linger amid the modern attractions. Among the most frequently reported hauntings is the appearance of a ghostly figure near the park's classic carousel. The carousel, a centerpiece of Hershey Park, for decades, has delighted generations of children with its ornate horses, painted scenes, and twirling motion. Witnesses describe seeing a translucent figure near the carousel late in the evening or during quieter hours, often appearing as a woman dressed in period clothing from the early to mid-20th century. Some visitors claim that she stands silently beside the ride, watching as the horses rotate, while others report that she seems to move among the carousel animals, disappearing when approached. The figure is sometimes accompanied by a subtle drop in temperature, a sensation of being observed, or faint, unidentifiable whispers, creating an eerie contrast to the otherwise cheerful environment. The older sections of Hershey Park, including pathways, gardens, and structures that have been preserved over the decades, are also central to many reports of paranormal activity. Employees working maintenance or security shifts often recount hearing footsteps echoing along deserted walkways, even when no other people are present. Doors and gates occasionally open or close without explanation, while lights flicker inexplicably in older buildings or ride structures. Some workers have reported feeling a sudden sense of unease, as if an invisible presence is nearby, or noticing objects moved from their original positions, despite careful placement. These experiences, though subtle at times, contribute to the park's reputation as a location where the past and present overlap. Hershey Park's long history plays a significant role in its paranormal reputation. Over a century of operation has brought millions of visitors and countless employees to the park, each leaving behind memories, emotions, and energy. Some theorists suggest that certain individuals may have left residual imprints on the park's structures, creating what is known as a residual haunting. This type of haunting does not involve an active spirit, but instead represents a replay of past activity, an echo of lives and events that once took place within the park. In this context, the carousel, with its decades of joyful rides and laughter, becomes a natural focal point for lingering energy. In addition to visual sightings, auditory phenomena are frequently reported at Hershey Park. Guests and staff alike describe hearing faint whispers, laughter, or the subtle clatter of machinery where no activity is occurring. The sound of footsteps often seems to follow individuals along empty paths or through older buildings, disappearing when they attempt to locate the source. Some visitors even report hearing the faint strains of music or carnival sounds drifting through areas that should be quiet, particularly in sections of the park that have been in place for decades. These auditory experiences, combined with the occasional visual apparition, create a layered sense of mystery that has become part of Hershey Park's identity. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts have taken an interest in the park due to these repeated reports. Using thermal imaging, audio recording devices, and cameras, they have documented anomalies that appear in line with employee and visitor accounts. Shadowy figures have been captured in photographs, often near the carousel or along older pathways. Cold spots are frequently detected in areas associated with sightings, and audio recordings occasionally pick up faint noises that cannot be attributed to environmental sources. While skeptics may argue that some experiences are due to imagination, stress, or natural acoustics, the consistency and specificity of these reports suggests that something unusual persists in Hershey Park's older sections. Employees who work after hours or during maintenance shifts often describe heightened experiences in specific areas. The carousel is repeatedly mentioned, along with nearby gardens and walkways that date back to the park's early years. Workers have noted moments when the air feels charged, shadows appear at the edge of vision, or objects seem to shift imperceptibly. These subtle experiences create a lasting impression and contribute to the park's lore among staff, many of whom share stories of encounters with new employees as part of a long-standing tradition of whispered tales. Visitors occasionally report their own encounters, sometimes during quiet moments on a ride or while walking through older park areas. A sudden chill, the impression of being watched, or a glimpse of a fleeting figure can transform an ordinary experience into one that lingers in memory. Even in areas bustling with activity, the sense that the park holds unseen energy can be noticeable, particularly for those attuned to subtle shifts in atmosphere. Hershey Park continues to thrive as a destination for families, thrill seekers, and candy lovers from across the country. Its roller coasters, water rides, and themed attractions ensure an energetic and memorable experience for millions each year. Yet the presence of the unexplained, from ghostly figures near the carousel to footsteps in older sections, adds an extra layer of intrigue. Hershey Park is not only a place of fun and excitement, it's also a location where history, memory, and mystery quietly coexist. For those who pause long enough to notice, the echoes of the past remain, wandering the pathways, watching near the rides, and reminding visitors that even the happiest places can hold secrets just beneath the surface. Wild Waves Theme and Water Park, located in Federal Way, Washington, is a popular destination for thrill seekers and families seeking a blend of amusement rides and water attractions. Since its opening in 1977, the park has grown to include roller coasters, water slides, and classic carnival rides, attracting visitors from across the Pacific Northwest. Its colorful rides, splash zones, and lively atmosphere create a vibrant environment. But beyond the laughter and excitement, Wild Waves carries a reputation for something far more mysterious. Over the years, both guests and employees have reported paranormal activity, particularly in areas surrounding the park's older attractions, suggesting that Wild Waves harbors lingering echoes of the past. Many of the reports center around the park's oldest rides, which retain the design and charm of an earlier era. Visitors have described seeing ghostly apparitions along the tracks of roller coasters or near the structures of classic rides that have been in operation for decades. These apparitions often appear as fleeting shadows, indistinct human figures, or faintly illuminated shapes that vanish when approached. Some witnesses claim to feel a sudden chill, the temperature dropping inexplicably around the apparition, accompanied by a sense of being watched. These encounters are frequently reported during quieter times of the day, when the park is less crowded, but some have occurred during normal operating hours, blending the thrill of the rides with the eerie sensation of the supernatural. Employees who work late shifts, particularly those involved in maintenance or security, have shared numerous accounts of unusual activity. Footsteps echoing along empty pathways, doors opening or closing without cause, and the sudden movement of equipment are common experiences. Maintenance staff often report hearing the sound of machinery operating in areas where rides are powered down, or the faint clatter of carts and tools in storage buildings that are supposedly empty. Security personnel patrolling the park after hours sometimes see shadowy figures moving at the edge of their vision or feel sudden drafts in enclosed spaces, heightening the sense that unseen presences may roam the grounds. One of the most frequently cited locations for paranormal sightings is the area surrounding the park's older roller coasters and carousel. The wooden support structures, creaking tracks, and exposed mechanical components provide an atmosphere that naturally amplifies sound and movement. But many witnesses insist that the phenomena they experience go beyond ordinary explanations. Riders have reported feeling taps or brushes as if someone unseen is near them, hearing whispers amid the roar of the ride, or noticing figures that seem to appear and disappear in peripheral vision. These experiences leave a lasting impression and contribute to the park's lore among visitors and employees alike. Auditory phenomena are also a common aspect of Wild Waves' reported haunting. Guests and staff alike describe hearing faint voices, laughter, or footsteps where no one else is present. The sounds often seem to follow individuals as they walk along empty paths or through older sections of the park, fading when investigated. In some cases, the clatter of machinery or creaking of ride supports occurs when all equipment is powered down, creating the impression that the park itself is alive with unseen activity. These auditory anomalies, combined with the occasional visual apparition, reinforce the idea that the park holds residual energy from its history. The long history of wild waves likely plays a role in its paranormal reputation. Decades of visitors, employees, and daily activity may have left subtle traces of energy that manifest as ghostly impressions or unexplained phenomena. Some theorists suggest that the apparitions are residual hauntings, echoes of past events that repeat over time, while others speculate that spirits of former park employees or visitors remain drawn to places they frequented in life. Regardless of the explanation, the older rides and less trafficked areas of the park seem to be hotspots for these occurrences. Paranormal investigators have occasionally explored wild waves to document the unusual activity. Using cameras, audio recording devices, and thermal imaging, they have captured anomalies that align with reports from employees and visitors. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older ride structures. Audio recordings capture unexplained footsteps and murmurs, and cold spots are frequently detected in areas with a history of reported sightings. While skeptics attribute many incidents to environmental factors or imagination, the consistency and specificity of the reports suggest that some form of unexplained activity persists in the park. Visitors sometimes experience fleeting moments of the paranormal without realizing it immediately. A sudden chill, the feeling of eyes following them, or a fleeting shadow in the corner of their vision can turn an ordinary visit into a memorable and unsettling experience. Some riders report that the sensation of being watched or followed remains long after leaving the park, leaving them with a lingering sense of curiosity and unease. For those intrigued by the unknown, Wild Waves offers both thrills and subtle encounters with the unexplained. Even during peak daytime hours, when the park is bustling with activity, certain areas of Wild Waves seem to retain a quiet, almost uncanny energy. Older rides, empty walkways, and less frequented corners carry an atmosphere that feels distinct from the rest of the park. Employees report that walking through these areas at night can create a heightened sense of awareness, as though the park is observing their movements, and they must tread carefully among the echoes of its past. Wild Waves Theme and Water Park continues to be a beloved destination for families, thrill seekers, and visitors seeking fun and excitement. Its roller coasters, water slides, and classic attractions ensure a lively experience. Yet the lingering presence of unexplained phenomena adds a layer of intrigue. From ghostly figures along older rides to footsteps echoing through empty corridors, the park serves as a reminder that even the happiest places can harbor mysteries. For those who pause and take notice, Wild Waves is not only a place of thrills and entertainment, it is a space where history and the unexplained quietly coexist, leaving subtle impressions on those who visit and adding an enduring, mysterious charm to its reputation. The Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, located along the scenic coastline of Santa Cruz, California, is one of the oldest and most iconic amusement parks in the state. Established in 1907, the park has delighted generations of visitors with its classic rides, carnival games, and seaside charm. Its historic attractions, including the Giant Dipper roller coaster and the Louvre carousel, have become symbols of California's rich amusement park history. Yet beneath the joyful atmosphere and the laughter of beachgoers, the boardwalk harbors a mysterious and eerie side. Over the years, guests and employees have reported paranormal activity, from ghostly apparitions to unexplained sounds, suggesting that the park's long history has left lingering echoes that continue to make themselves known. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves ghostly figures seen near the park's older rides. The Giant Dipper, a wooden roller coaster that has thrilled visitors since 1924, is often cited as a hotspot for paranormal activity. Witnesses describe seeing shadowy figures moving along the tracks or near the ride's supports. Some riders report feeling sudden chills or an inexplicable sense of being watched while on the coaster, particularly in the quieter sections or during late evening rides. Employees have also noted unusual occurrences, such as lights flickering, creaking sounds coming from stationary sections of the ride, or the feeling that someone unseen is standing nearby. The combination of the ride's age, wooden structure, and the energy of countless past riders may contribute to the unusual experiences reported by those who spend time near it. The Louvre Carousel, another historic attraction, is similarly associated with supernatural activity. This beautifully crafted carousel, with its hand-carved horses and intricate decorations, has delighted visitors for decades. However, some claim to have seen ghostly figures riding the horses when the ride is empty, or observe the carousel moving on its own during the faint sound of carnival music, often described as coming from nowhere, has been reported by both visitors and employees, creating an unsettling atmosphere that seems to contrast with the boardwalk's cheerful daytime ambience. The music, when heard alone or in the absence of other people, can evoke a nostalgic yet eerie feeling, as if the park itself is recalling memories from the past. Employees working after hours have shared numerous accounts of unexplained activity, footsteps echoing along empty boardwalks, the subtle clatter of carnival equipment, and doors opening or closing without explanation are common experiences. Some maintenance workers have described hearing laughter or voices near old game booths, even when no one is present. Security personnel patrolling the boardwalk late at night have reported fleeting shadows or indistinct figures at the edge of their vision, disappearing whenever they attempt to approach. These reports suggest that the park's energy persists beyond its operating hours, leaving traces that are subtle but noticeable to those who work closely with its historic structures. Auditory phenomena are a particularly striking aspect of the boardwalk's hauntings. Visitors have reported hearing carnival music, calliope tunes, or the distant clatter of rides when the park is closed. In some cases, music seems to follow individuals along deserted pathways, fading or growing louder in a way that cannot be explained by speakers or residual sound. Whispers, laughter, and the faint sounds of footsteps often accompany these experiences, reinforcing the impression that the park's past is still present in some form. Employees describe the sensation of being watched as these sounds occur, creating a palpable tension even in familiar areas. The long history of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk contributes to its reputation for haunt. Over more than a century of operation, the park has seen millions of visitors, countless performers, and generations of families enjoying its attractions. Some theorists suggest that this prolonged activity has left residual energy within the structures, manifesting as ghostly sightings and unexplained noises. Others propose that spirits of former visitors or employees linger, drawn to places that held meaning in life. The boardwalks, wooden structures, intricate architecture, and open-air environment may all provide conditions for paranormal phenomena to appear, amplifying sounds and shadows in ways that can be interpreted as supernatural. Photographers and paranormal enthusiasts have occasionally attempted to document these occurrences. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near the Giant Dipper and Louvre Carousel, while thermal imaging devices often detect cold spots along the boardwalk's walkways. Audio recorders have captured unexplained music, footsteps, and whispers in areas that are otherwise empty. While skeptics attribute many of these experiences to imagination, environmental factors, or structural acoustics, the consistency of reports over decades lends credibility to the idea that something unusual persists in the park. Visitors sometimes encounter subtle but unforgettable moments of the paranormal. A sudden chill on a warm evening, a fleeting glimpse of a shadow moving among the rides, or the faint sound of music when no one else is around can transform an ordinary visit into an experience that lingers in memory. For many, these occurrences are fleeting, yet they contribute to a sense of mystery that exists alongside the boardwalk's more overt entertainment. Even during busy daytime hours, the historic sections of the park carry a unique energy. The aged wooden rides, narrow boardwalk paths, and vintage architecture create an atmosphere where history is palpable. And for some, the presence of past visitors and performers can be felt. Employees who have spent decades at the park often speak of certain areas that feel different, with shadows, sounds, and sensations that are difficult to explain but impossible to ignore. The Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk remains a beloved destination for visitors seeking thrills, nostalgia, and seaside entertainment. Its roller coasters, carousels, and carnival attractions ensure a lively and memorable experience for families and thrill seekers alike. Yet for those who pause to notice the subtleties, the park offers more than fun. It presents a glimpse into the past, where ghostly figures, unexplained music, and fleeting shadows quietly coexist with the laughter of the living. The hauntings of the boardwalk, whether residual echoes or spirits, add an extra layer of intrigue to its long history, reminding visitors that even the happiest places can hold secrets waiting to be discovered. Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida, is celebrated worldwide as a place of wonder, enchantment, and childhood dreams brought to life. Families flock to its gates each year, eager to experience the beloved rides, dazzling parades, and iconic castle that define the park's magical reputation. Yet beneath the cheerful exterior, whispers of the unexplained weave through its history. Stories that suggest the magic of the park may stretch into the realm of the supernatural. Visitors and cast members alike have reported encounters with ghostly figures, eerie sounds, and moments that defy logical explanation, making Magic Kingdom a place where fantasy and the paranormal sometimes overlap. One of the most frequently mentioned sites of paranormal activity is the Haunted Mansion ride. The attraction is designed to be spooky, filled with playful frights, eerie music, and ghostly illusions created through clever engineering. However, some guests and employees insist that not all of the spirits inside are staged. There are accounts of a ghostly figure appearing in ride vehicles alongside unsuspecting guests. Dubbed Mr. One Way, this apparition is described as a man who materializes suddenly, usually seated next to riders traveling alone. Witnesses say he vanishes just as abruptly before the ride concludes, leaving guests unsettled by an experience that seems far too real to be part of the show. Other eerie happenings have been reported throughout the Haunted Mansion itself. Some guests claim to hear disembodied voices whispering in corners, or to feel cold spots in areas where no breeze should exist. Cast members working the ride after closing have described seeing flickers of movement in the darkened corridors, as though shadows detach themselves and drift from room to room. The boundary between carefully crafted illusion and unexplained reality seems to blur within this attraction, fueling speculation that true spirits may linger within its Gothic walls. Beyond the Haunted Mansion, the park's older areas hold their own share of strange tales. Visitors have reported hearing unexplained footsteps in deserted walkways late at night, long after the crowds have gone home. Some describe the sound of laughter echoing faintly in areas where no one is present, as if the joyful energy of past guests has imprinted itself into the park. Maintenance workers who perform tasks after hours tell of hearing the music from rides or parades faintly, playing even when the systems are powered down. These spectral sounds fade as suddenly as they begin, leaving behind only silence and the unsettling question of their origin. The Main Street area, with its nostalgic charm, is another place where the paranormal has reportedly surfaced. Guests strolling alone at twilight have spoken of glimpsing figures in period clothing watching from windows above the shops, only to discover that the rooms are unoccupied. Cast members cleaning after hours have claimed to hear doors opening and closing or the faint hum of conversation drifting from seemingly empty buildings. These experiences give the sense that Magic Kingdom's dedication to evoking the past may have stirred echoes of something more enduring. There are also stories tied to the park's dedication to creating a joyful, immersive experience. Over the years, Some guests have chosen to scatter the ashes of loved ones inside Magic Kingdom, often in places like the Haunted Mansion. While this practice is prohibited, the act reflects the powerful emotional connection visitors feel to the park. Some believe that these actions contribute to the paranormal activity reported there, suggesting that spirits may linger in the place that held such deep significance during their lives. Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios each have their own mysteries. But Magic Kingdom's long history and iconic status make its stories particularly compelling. It is a place built to preserve childhood wonder, yet it also seems to capture echoes of the past in ways that defy explanation. Whether it is the apparition of Mr. One-Way, the phantom footsteps on empty paths, or the spectral figures glimpsed on Main Street, the park's supernatural stories persist across generations. For most visitors, the strange phenomena only add to the sense of awe and mystery surrounding the park. Magic Kingdom was designed to transport people into a world of fantasy, and perhaps it succeeds more fully than anyone could have imagined. The park's cheerful atmosphere may mask deeper layers of history, emotion, and lingering presence that surface in moments of stillness. As day fades into night and the last lights dim across the park, the Magical Kingdom transforms into a quieter, eerier place where stories of the paranormal seem not only possible but inevitable. Magic Kingdom remains, above all, a place of wonder. Families continue to gather, children's laughter rings through the air, and memories are created that last a lifetime. Yet for those attuned to the mysterious, the park holds more than just fairy tales and fireworks. It carries with it stories of ghostly figures, unexplained sounds, and an atmosphere that suggests the magic here is more than simple illusion. For some, it is proof that the enchantment of Magic Kingdom lingers long after the rides stop and the crowds disperse, echoing in both memory and the supernatural. Disneyland, located in Anaheim, California, is often celebrated as the happiest place on Earth, drawing millions of visitors annually to experience its immersive lands, iconic attractions, and magical ambience. Since its opening in 1955, the park has captivated generations with its rides, shows, and themed experiences, including Main Street, USA, Adventureland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. While Disneyland is renowned for its charm, creativity, and family-friendly fun, it also carries a reputation for the paranormal. Over the years, both visitors and employees have reported strange occurrences and ghostly sightings, suggesting that the park holds a hidden, mysterious side beneath its cheerful facade. One of the most frequently cited paranormal figures at Disneyland is known as Mr. One-Way. This ghostly apparition is said to appear within the Haunted Mansion ride, one of the park's most famous attractions. Witnesses describe Mr. One-Way as a tall, dark figure, often standing at the end of the ride or appearing briefly in the shadows of the dimly lit rooms. Some riders have reported feeling an inexplicable chill as they pass certain areas, accompanied by the sensation of being watched. Others claim to have glimpsed the figure out of the corner of their eye, only for it to vanish when directly observed. Though the Haunted Mansion is intentionally designed to create spooky illusions, many accounts suggest that Mr. One-Way is an entity separate from the ride's effects, a lingering presence connected to the park's long history. The Haunted Mansion itself is a focal point for paranormal activity due to its eerie theming, intricate design, and historical significance. Guests have reported seeing lights flicker unexpectedly, hearing faint whispers, and experiencing sudden drops in temperature during their ride. Some visitors claim that objects within the ride, such as props or elements, appear to move on their own, though the effects cannot be attributed to the ride's mechanics. Employees who work in and around the attraction, particularly during after-hours maintenance, often describe hearing footsteps, doors creaking, or faint laughter where no one else is present. These reports contribute to the park's reputation as a location where history and the unexplained intersect. Beyond the Haunted Mansion, Disneyland's older areas are also frequently associated with unexplained phenomena. Main Street, USA, and certain backstage corridors are known for odd auditory occurrences, including whispers, laughter, and footsteps that seem to come from empty spaces. Some employees have reported that, while walking through these areas alone at night, they feel an unseen presence following them or passing nearby. Objects sometimes appear slightly shifted or out of place, even when carefully stored, further fueling tales of paranormal activity. These experiences, though often subtle, create a lasting impression on those who encounter them and have become part of the park's lore. Auditory experiences are a recurring aspect of Disneyland's reported hauntings. Visitors and staff alike have described hearing faint music, echoes of conversations, or the sound of movement in areas where no one is present. These sounds often occur in the older sections of the park, such as around the original rides, storage buildings, and backstage areas. The noises are frequently accompanied by the sensation of cold drafts or a sudden feeling that someone unseen is observing, heightening the eeriness of the experience. Many who encounter these phenomena describe a sense that the park is alive with memories and energy from decades of human activity. Disneyland's long history contributes to its reputation for hauntings. Over 6 decades of continuous operation have brought millions of visitors, performers, and employees through the park, creating layers of energy and memory. Some theorists suggest that residual hauntings, echoes of past events repeating in certain areas, may account for sightings of ghostly figures and unexplained sounds. Others propose that spirits of former staff or visitors may linger, drawn to places that held meaning in life. The combination of extensive history, intricate architecture, and emotional energy makes the park an environment where subtle paranormal activity can manifest. Paranormal enthusiasts and investigators have occasionally documented phenomena at Disneyland, using cameras, audio equipment, and thermal imaging devices. They have captured anomalies that align with reported experiences. Shadowy figures have been photographed near older attractions. Cold spots appear along hallways and ride paths, and faint audio captures reveal whispers or footsteps in locations devoid of people. While skeptics argued that these occurrences may be caused by natural acoustics, imagination, or environmental factors, the consistency of reports over decades lends weight to claims that some unexplained activity persists within the park. Visitors sometimes encounter subtle, fleeting moments of the paranormal. A sudden chill in a warm room, the sensation of eyes following them, or the impression of a shadow moving at the edge of vision can turn an ordinary visit into an experience that lingers in memory. For many, these moments evoke curiosity, unease, and a sense of connection to the park's long history. Even during the bustling hours of operation, Disneyland's older structures and pathways hold a unique energy that can be felt by those who are particularly sensitive to their surroundings. Despite these mysteries, Disneyland continues to thrive as a premier amusement park, celebrated for its rides, shows, and immersive lands. Its Haunted Mansion and other older areas remain popular destinations, offering both excitement and, for some, glimpses into the unexplained. From the ghostly presence of Mr. One-Way to inexplicable sounds in historic areas, Disneyland offers visitors more than entertainment. It presents a hidden layer of history and mystery. The combination of joy, imagination, and subtle hauntings makes the park a place where the past and present coexists, inviting curiosity and wonder for generations to come. SeaWorld Orlando, located in the heart of Orlando, Florida, is widely recognized as a premier destination for marine life education, thrilling rides, and family entertainment. Since its opening in 1973, the park has attracted millions of visitors, offering immersive experiences that blend animal exhibits, live shows, and amusement rides. Guests flock to see orcas, dolphins, sea lions, and other marine creatures, while also enjoying roller coasters, water rides, and themed attractions. Despite its vibrant and lively atmosphere, SeaWorld Orlando has a lesser-known, mysterious side. Over the years, visitors and employees have reported paranormal activity, particularly near older attractions and quiet areas of the park, suggesting that the park may harbor echoes of its past beyond the sights and sounds of the present. Much of the reported paranormal activity centers on SeaWorld's older attractions, many of which were among the first rides and exhibits established during the park's early years. Guests have described seeing ghostly figures moving along pathways, near ride entrances, or in areas surrounding animal enclosures. Some of these apparitions appear as indistinct shadows, while others take on the form of human-like figures that vanish when approached. Witnesses frequently report an accompanying chill or sudden drop in temperature, and a lingering sense of being watched, even in locations that are otherwise empty. These experiences create an unsettling contrast to the vibrant, cheerful environment of the park, suggesting that some part of its history remains present in spectral form. Employees who work behind the scenes, particularly those involved in maintenance, security, or late-night operations, have shared numerous accounts of unexplained phenomena: footsteps echoing in deserted hallways, doors opening or closing without any mechanical cause, and sudden noises near empty attractions are among the most common reports. Maintenance staff often encounter unexplained creaks, rattles, or faint sounds resembling equipment operation in areas where all rides are powered down. Security personnel patrolling the park after closing have reported fleeting shadows, feelings of unseen presence, and sudden temperature shifts in areas long associated with activity from previous decades. These experiences suggest that certain parts of SeaWorld Orlando hold a subtle, persistent energy that interacts with the living in unexpected ways. Auditory phenomena are a recurring aspect of the park's haunting. Visitors and employees alike have reported hearing footsteps following them through empty pathways or deserted areas of the park. Some describe faint whispers, indistinct chatter, or even the sounds of animal movement in zones that are no longer inhabited by wildlife or are closed to the public. Others have experienced music or the echo of voices that seem to drift through the air, particularly near older attractions or backstage areas. These sounds, combined with fleeting visual sightings, create an immersive sense of mystery, blending the familiar with the inexplicable. The long history of SeaWorld Orlando contributes to its reputation as a site of paranormal activity. Over nearly 5 decades of operation, the park has seen thousands of employees and millions of visitors pass through its gates. Some theorists suggest that the intense energy and emotions generated by this continuous human activity may leave residual imprints, resulting in what is known as a residual haunting. These echoes, they argue, replay certain events or behaviors without conscious interaction from spirits. Others speculate that spirits of former employees or visitors may linger in the park, drawn to locations that held significance during their lives. Either way, the older attractions and quiet areas of the park are consistently associated with these experiences. Certain rides and locations seem to attract more reports of unusual activity than others. Older roller coasters, water rides, and animal-themed attractions are often cited as hotspots. Riders have described sudden cold sensations, a sense of unseen observers, and occasional glimpses of figures standing along tracks or pathways. Employees working near older ride structures often note objects subtly moving or the sensation of being touched by something unseen. Even walkways and seating areas near long-standing exhibits have been described as having an unusual energy, creating a feeling that history and memory have somehow become intertwined with the present. Paranormal enthusiasts have occasionally investigated SeaWorld Orlando, attempting to capture and document unexplained phenomena using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging devices. They have detected anomalies that align with employee and visitor reports. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older rides or empty pathways. Cold spots are frequently detected in areas associated with sightings, and audio equipment captures faint footsteps or whispers in locations that are otherwise silent. While skeptics often attribute these events to environmental factors, imagination, or acoustics, the consistency of reports across decades suggests that something beyond the ordinary may be occurring. Visitors sometimes report subtle moments of the paranormal during their day at SeaWorld. A sudden chill on a warm afternoon, the impression of being observed while walking past an older exhibit, or a fleeting shadow glimpsed from the corner of the eye can transform an otherwise ordinary visit into a memorable experience. These moments often linger in memory, creating stories shared among family and friends long after the visit ends. Employees, particularly those who have spent years at the park, frequently recount these encounters, noting that certain areas feel different or charged with a presence that is difficult to explain but impossible to ignore. SeaWorld Orlando continues to thrive as a destination for marine life enthusiasts, thrill seekers, and families. Its roller coasters, water rides, and animal exhibits ensure excitement and entertainment for millions each year. Yet, alongside the laughter, excitement, and vibrant atmosphere, the park also holds a quieter, more mysterious side. From ghostly figures near older attractions to footsteps echoing in empty pathways, SeaWorld Orlando reminds visitors and employees alike that even the most joyful and lively places can harbor secrets and echoes from the past, adding an enduring layer of intrigue to its long and storied history. SeaWorld San Diego, located along the picturesque coastline of San Diego, California, is renowned for its marine life exhibits, thrilling rides, and family entertainment. Since opening its doors in 1964, the park has attracted millions of visitors eager to experience up-close encounters with orcas, dolphins, sea lions, and countless other marine species. Beyond its animal presentations and roller coasters, SeaWorld San Diego also offers a variety of attractions, shows, and immersive themed areas that combine excitement and education. While the park is celebrated for its lively atmosphere and interactive experiences, a lesser-known aspect of its history involves reports of paranormal activity, particularly near older attractions and secluded areas of the park. Over the years, visitors and employees have described ghostly sightings along the pathways of older sections of the park. Some witnesses report seeing faint, human-like figures moving near ride structures or disappearing behind buildings and foliage. These apparitions often appear as translucent shadows or indistinct forms, sometimes resembling former employees or early visitors. In many cases, these figures vanish when approached, leaving behind an eerie feeling of being watched. Guests frequently describe an accompanying chill in the air, or a sudden sense of unease, even during daylight hours when the park is bustling with activity. These experiences suggest that some residual energy from the park's past continues to linger in subtle and unexplained ways. The older rides at SeaWorld San Diego are frequently mentioned in reports of paranormal activity. Classic roller coasters and vintage water attractions, some of which have been in operation for decades, are common sites of sightings. Riders occasionally report feeling sudden temperature drops or the sensation of an unseen presence brushing against them while traveling along tracks. Maintenance staff working on these attractions after hours have recounted instances of tools being displaced or equipment seeming to operate on its own. The creaks, groans, and hums of old structures may naturally amplify such experiences. But the consistency of reports from multiple sources points to something beyond simple mechanical noises. Employees who work late-night shifts, particularly in maintenance, security, and cleaning, have shared numerous accounts of unexplained phenomena. Footsteps echoing through empty corridors, doors opening or closing on their own, and faint laughter or whispers in unoccupied areas are common experiences. Security personnel patrolling the park after closing have reported fleeting shadows, cold spots, and a sensation of unseen observers following them along pathways. Some have noted the impression of movement in peripheral vision, or the fleeting glimpse of figures that vanish when directly looked at. These occurrences are often localized to the park's oldest sections, where the combination of historical architecture, dense foliage, and ambient sounds creates an environment conducive to eerie sensations. Auditory anomalies are among the most frequently reported supernatural experiences at SeaWorld San Diego. Visitors and employees alike have described hearing footsteps, indistinct chatter, or laughter in areas that appear to be empty. Some have heard the faint sounds of carnival-style music, or the clatter of ride machinery, in attractions that are powered down and unoccupied. These sounds are often accompanied by the feeling of a presence nearby, intensifying the sense that the past is somehow lingering within the park. Even in crowded areas, some individuals report a distinct impression of being observed or followed by something unseen. SeaWorld San Diego's long history is an important factor in understanding its paranormal reputation. With decades of operation and countless visitors and employees passing through the park, it is believed that residual energy or imprints of past events could remain embedded in the structures and grounds. Some paranormal theorists suggest that spirits of former employees or guests may remain in the areas where they spent significant time, particularly around rides and exhibits they interacted with during life. Others propose that the energy of human activity itself can accumulate and manifest as echoes of motion, sound, or presence, creating subtle but persistent hauntings. Certain areas and attractions appear to attract more reports than others. Older rides, water attractions, and backstage corridors are often cited as hotspots. Visitors have described cold drafts, sudden chills, or fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures while exploring these locations. Employees working near these areas frequently report unusual occurrences, from tools or props shifting mysteriously to the sensation of being touched by something invisible. Even quiet pathways and seating areas near older exhibits have been described as having a peculiar energy, creating an atmosphere that feels charged or different compared to the newer sections of the park. Paranormal investigators have occasionally explored SeaWorld San Diego to document these experiences, using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging devices. They have detected anomalies consistent with eyewitness reports, shadowy figures captured in photographs, cold spots detected along pathways, and faint, unexplained audio recordings have all been documented in areas long associated with sightings. While skeptics may attribute many incidents to environmental factors, imagination, or structural acoustics, the frequency and specificity of reports across decades suggests that something unexplained persists in the park. Visitors sometimes encounter fleeting, subtle moments of the paranormal, such as a sudden chill on a warm afternoon, a shadow moving at the edge of vision, or the impression of being observed while walking past older exhibits. These encounters can leave a lasting impression, turning an ordinary visit into a memorable and eerie experience. Employees often recount similar occurrences, describing specific areas as charged or different from the rest of the park, where the energy of past events seems to linger. SeaWorld San Diego continues to thrive as a destination for family entertainment, marine life education, and thrilling attractions. Its roller coasters, water rides, and animal exhibits make it a lively and engaging place for millions of visitors each year. Yet beneath the excitement, the park maintains a quieter, more mysterious side. Ghostly figures near older attractions, footsteps in deserted corridors, and unexplained sounds remind guests and staff that even the happiest, most vibrant locations can hold echoes of the past. For those attuned to subtle sensations, SeaWorld San Diego offers both the thrill of the present and a connection to the lingering mysteries of its history. Knott's Soak City, located in Buena Park, California, is a popular water park known for its thrilling slides, wave pools, and family-friendly attractions. Adjacent to the historic Knott's Berry Farm, Soak City has become a destination for visitors seeking summer fun and aquatic excitement. Since its opening, the park has expanded to include dozens of water slides, lazy rivers, and interactive play areas, attracting families and thrill seekers alike. While most guests come for the sun, water, and rides, there is another, less visible side of the park, an air of mystery and unexplained phenomena that has led some to claim the park is haunted. Over the years, visitors and employees have reported strange occurrences near older attractions and quieter areas, suggesting that Knott's Soak City holds secrets beyond its surface of splashes and laughter. The most commonly reported paranormal activity occurs near the park's older rides and water attractions. Guests have described seeing ghostly figures moving along the edges of slides, near the pools, or along the pathways adjacent to long-standing attractions. These apparitions are often described as faint silhouettes or translucent forms, occasionally resembling former visitors or staff. Many report that the figures vanish when approached, leaving behind an eerie sense of being observed. Witnesses often feel sudden chills or drops in temperature in these areas, intensifying the unsettling experience. Such occurrences have become part of the lore surrounding the park's history, suggesting that even a water park can harbor echoes of the past. Employees who work after hours, particularly maintenance staff and security personnel, frequently report unexplained phenomena. Footsteps echoing through empty corridors, doors opening and closing on their own, and equipment moving seemingly without cause are common experiences. Late-night cleaning crews have described hearing faint laughter, whispers, or the distant splash of water from areas that are closed or empty. Security personnel patrolling the park after closing have occasionally seen fleeting shadows or felt a sudden presence nearby, only to find no one around when they investigate. These experiences point to a persistent energy in certain areas, particularly those connected to older sections of the park. Auditory phenomena are a significant aspect of the hauntings at Not-So City. Guests and employees alike have reported hearing footsteps, muffled voices, and laughter in areas that are unoccupied. Some describe hearing the distant sound of water splashing in pools that have long been drained or slides that are closed for maintenance. Others report hearing the echo of children's laughter or voices calling out, despite no one being nearby. These auditory experiences, paired with visual sightings, create an immersive sense of the unexplained, where ordinary sounds take on an eerie significance. The park's history plays a role in the reported hauntings. Since opening, Not-So City has welcomed millions of visitors and employed countless staff members. Over decades of activity, memories, emotions, and energy from guests and employees may have left subtle imprints on the park's structures. Some paranormal theorists suggest these imprints manifest as residual hauntings, repetitive echoes of past events, replaying in certain locations. Others propose that spirits of former visitors or staff may linger, drawn to places that held significance during their lives. Either way, the older attractions, slides, and pathways consistently appear to be focal points for these mysterious experiences. Certain areas of the park attract more reports than others. Classic water slides, long-standing wave pools, and the oldest pathways are frequently cited as hotspots. Riders have reported feeling sudden chills or a presence while descending slides, while lifeguards or staff working near pools have occasionally felt unseen touches or watched by an invisible observer. Even quiet walkways between attractions or seating areas near older sections of the park have been described as having an unusual energy, a subtle tension that contrasts with the excitement of busier areas. Paranormal enthusiasts have occasionally investigated Not-So City, attempting to capture evidence of the reported phenomena. Using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging devices, they have documented anomalies in line with witness accounts. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older attractions. Cold spots are detected along pathways and slides, and faint, unexplained audio recordings capture footsteps or distant laughter in areas without human presence. While skeptics attribute some of these occurrences to imagination, environmental factors, or acoustic quirks, the consistency of reports over decades suggests that something unusual persists within the park. Visitors sometimes experience subtle, fleeting paranormal moments during their time at Not-So City. A sudden chill while walking past a closed slide, the impression of eyes following them in an empty area, or a shadow flitting across the corner of their vision can transform a typical visit into a memorable and unsettling experience. Employees, particularly those who have spent years at the park, often recount similar experiences, describing specific areas as different or charged with a presence that cannot be explained. These subtle encounters leave a lasting impression, blending seamlessly into the park's lively, water-filled environment. Despite these mysteries, Not-So City remains a beloved destination for family entertainment, thrills, and aquatic fun. Its water slides, wave pools, and interactive attractions draw thousands of guests each season, offering a dynamic and joyful experience. Yet, alongside the laughter, splashes, and summer excitement, the park retains a quieter, more enigmatic side. Ghostly figures near older attractions, footsteps in deserted corridors, and unexplained sounds serve as reminders that even the happiest and most vibrant places can carry echoes of the past. For those attuned to subtle sensations, Not Essoke City offers not only entertainment but also a glimpse into the lingering mysteries that quietly coexist alongside the thrill of the present. Universal Studios Florida, located in Orlando, is one of the world's most iconic theme parks, offering visitors an immersive experience into the worlds of film and television. Since opening in 1990, the park has been a destination for thrill seekers and movie enthusiasts alike, combining state-of-the-art rides, elaborate sets, and interactive attractions. While the park is celebrated for its high-energy experiences and family entertainment, it is also known for a quieter, more mysterious side that has intrigued both visitors and employees over the years. Numerous reports suggest that some areas of Universal Studios Florida, particularly the older sections and iconic rides, are haunted by unexplained phenomena, ranging from ghostly apparitions to eerie sounds that defy explanation. One of the park's most famous attractions associated with paranormal activity is the Revenge of the Mummy ride. While designed to thrill with dark corridors, sudden drops, and elaborate theming, some guests have reported experiences that go beyond the ride's scripted scares. Riders occasionally describe feeling cold drafts in confined spaces, as if an unseen presence is nearby. Shadowy figures have been seen in peripheral vision, sometimes along hallways or near machinery, vanishing when directly observed. Faint whispers or the echo of footsteps have been reported during rides, creating a sense of unease that cannot be attributed to the effects of the ride itself. These experiences suggest that residual energy or lingering spirits may inhabit the attraction's older structures, quietly adding a layer of mystery to the thrill. Beyond the Mummy ride, the park's older attractions, backlot areas, and service corridors have been hotspots for paranormal sightings. Guests walking through less frequented sections have reported seeing figures moving in areas that appear empty, fleeting shadows that cross hallways, and apparitions that disappear when approached. Employees working late shifts or performing maintenance have often encountered doors opening and closing on their own, strange noises from empty spaces, and sudden temperature drops. Security personnel patrolling the park after closing sometimes report the impression of being followed or watched, with footsteps echoing behind them where no one is present. These incidents are especially common near rides and sets that have been part of the park since its early years, suggesting a lingering presence in the oldest areas of Universal Studios Florida. Auditory anomalies are a recurring feature in the park's unexplained activity. Visitors and staff have reported hearing footsteps, whispers, and muffled voices in corridors or ride areas where no one else is present. Some describe faint laughter, reminiscent of a long-gone audience, echoing through the abandoned or quiet sections of attractions. Others hear mechanical sounds, gears turning, chains moving, or ride elements operating when the rides are shut down. These auditory phenomena often accompany visual sightings or sudden chills, creating a sense of being in the presence of something unseen and lending credibility to the reports of paranormal activity throughout the park. The history of Universal Studios Florida may help explain why these experiences persist. As one of the earliest parks to combine live entertainment, film sets, and immersive rides, it has hosted millions of guests and employed thousands of staff over decades. Some paranormal theorists propose that residual energy from intense human activity can remain imprinted on certain areas of a park, creating residual hauntings that replay elements of the past. Others speculate that spirits of former employees, cast members, or even guests may linger in areas they once frequented, especially near long-standing attractions that hold significant memories. The consistency of these reports across decades supports the idea that the park's older areas retain an energy that can be perceived by those sensitive to it. Certain attractions and areas of Universal Studios Florida appear to attract more paranormal activity than others. Besides Revenge of the Mummy, older roller coasters, water rides, and backstage corridors are frequently mentioned. Guests and employees describe experiencing sudden chills, the sensation of being touched, or glimpses of shadowy figures along ride paths or in backstage areas. Even walkways, seating areas, and quiet corners near older exhibits have been described as having a peculiar energy, creating an atmosphere that contrasts sharply with the bright, bustling areas of the park. These areas often feel different, heavier, charged, or strangely silent, adding to the sense of mystery that permeates the older sections. Paranormal investigators have occasionally explored Universal Studios Florida to document the reported phenomena. Using cameras, audio equipment, and thermal imaging devices, they have captured anomalies aligning with eyewitness accounts. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older attractions and backstage areas. Cold spots are detected in places where sightings occur, and unexplained audio recordings capture footsteps, murmurs, or mechanical sounds in otherwise empty spaces. While skeptics attribute some incidents to imagination, acoustic effects, or structural noises, the repetition and specificity of these reports across multiple witnesses suggests that some areas of the park hold phenomena beyond the ordinary. Visitors sometimes encounter subtle but unsettling moments during routine visits. A sudden chill on a bright afternoon, the fleeting impression of a figure at the corner of one's vision, or the feeling of being watched while passing a quiet corridor, can leave a lasting impression. Employees, especially those who have worked at the park for years, often recount similar experiences, noting that certain areas feel charged or distinctly different from the rest of the park. These fleeting encounters add a layer of intrigue to an environment already filled with spectacle and excitement. Despite these strange occurrences, Universal Studios Florida continues to thrive as a top destination for entertainment, thrill rides, and immersive experiences. Millions of visitors each year enjoy its rides, shows, and themed lands, experiencing the magic of movies and storytelling brought to life. Yet beneath the thrill and spectacle, the park holds a quieter, more enigmatic side. Ghostly figures near older attractions, unexplained footsteps, and fleeting shadows serve as reminders that even in the busiest, most carefully designed spaces, echoes of the past may linger, quietly intertwining with the present. Epcot, located in Orlando, Florida, is widely recognized as one of Walt Disney World's most ambitious and imaginative theme parks. Since its opening in 1982, Epcot has drawn millions of visitors eager to experience its unique blend of futuristic innovation, international culture, and immersive attractions. The park is divided into two main areas: Future World, which showcases technology, science, and progress, and World Showcase, a collection of pavilions representing countries from around the globe. Guests are drawn to the park for its educational exhibits, thrilling rides, and vibrant cultural experiences. But beneath its futuristic facade lies a lesser-known, mysterious side. Over the years, visitors and employees have reported paranormal phenomena, particularly in older attractions and quieter areas, suggesting that even a place designed to celebrate the future can carry echoes of the past. Many reports of paranormal activity at Epcot originate in the park's older attractions. Guests have described seeing shadowy figures moving along pathways, near ride entrances, or around older exhibits. These apparitions are often fleeting, disappearing when directly observed, yet they leave behind a strong impression, as though the park itself is alive with memories. Some witnesses have reported a sudden drop in temperature, or the sensation of being watched while walking through certain sections. These encounters are particularly unsettling because they contrast so sharply with the park's bright, meticulously maintained environment, highlighting the persistence of unseen forces amid the carefully constructed attractions. Certain rides and exhibits seem to attract more attention than others. In Future World, classic attractions such as Spaceship Earth and older technological exhibits have been linked to sightings of unexplained figures or shadowy forms. Visitors have reported glimpsing movements out of the corner of their eyes or feeling a sudden presence in empty corridors. In World Showcase, older pavilions are often associated with auditory anomalies, including whispers, faint footsteps, and echoes that seem out of place. Some guests describe hearing conversations or laughter where no one is visible, and these sounds are often accompanied by a sense of tension or unease. Employees working in these areas after hours also report strange occurrences, from doors opening on their own to lights flickering inexplicably. Auditory experiences are a key aspect of Epcot's reported haunting. Guests have mentioned hearing footsteps in empty hallways, the hum of machinery in attractions that are powered down, or faint laughter echoing through corridors. These sounds often appear to follow individuals as they move through certain areas, fading and returning unpredictably. Some employees have reported hearing mechanical noises, the shifting of props, or whispers near backstage corridors, further suggesting that some unseen presence may persist in the park's older structures. These auditory phenomena, combined with visual sightings and sudden chills, create a palpable sense that Epcot is more than just a theme park. It's a place where past and present coexist in subtle ways. The history of Epcot provides context for these unusual reports. As one of Disney World's original parks, it has hosted millions of visitors and employed thousands of staff over nearly 4 decades. Some paranormal theorists suggest that residual energy, left behind by significant human activity, may accumulate in certain areas, creating what is known as residual haunting. These echoes of past experiences replay without conscious intent, leaving fleeting impressions on those who encounter them. Others propose that spirits of former employees or visitors may linger in areas that held particular significance during their lives. The park's older attractions and quieter sections consistently emerge as locations where these experiences occur, indicating that Epcot's environment may preserve traces of its history in ways that are perceptible to sensitive individuals. Guests often describe a sense of unease in these haunted areas, even during daytime visits. Shadowy forms may flit across hallways or behind exhibits, and the impression of being followed can be overwhelming. A sudden chill in the air, an unexplained flicker of light, or the perception of movement at the edge of vision can transform a routine visit into a memorable encounter. Employees who have worked at the park for years frequently recount similar phenomena, noting that certain corridors, backstage areas, and older attractions feel different or charged with energy. These subtle experiences contribute to the lore surrounding Epcot and its quieter, more enigmatic side. Paranormal investigators have occasionally explored Epcot to capture evidence of these phenomena. Using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging, they have documented anomalies consistent with eyewitness accounts. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older attractions. Unexplained cold spots are detected in areas associated with sightings, and faint audio recordings capture footsteps, murmurs, or whispers in otherwise empty spaces. While skeptics may attribute some of these phenomena to imagination, acoustics, or environmental factors, the frequency and consistency of reports suggest that there may be something unusual lingering within the park. Even the quieter, overlooked areas of the park are not immune to these experiences. Walkways, seating areas, and abandoned spaces in older sections of Epcot have been described as having a distinct energy, a subtle tension that contrasts sharply with the bustling and colorful main areas. Visitors sometimes encounter fleeting moments that leave a lasting impression, a sudden chill, a whisper, or the impression of a presence nearby. Employees with long tenure often echo these experiences, noting that certain areas carry a weight or awareness that cannot be explained by the park's design or activity. Despite these reports of unexplained activity, Epcot remains a thriving hub for education, entertainment, and innovation. Its attractions, exhibits, and immersive environments continue to captivate millions of visitors annually, offering excitement, cultural exploration, and futuristic experiences. Yet, alongside the vibrancy and technology, a quieter, more mysterious side persists. Ghostly figures near older attractions, Footsteps echoing in empty corridors and unexplained sounds remind guests and staff alike that even a park devoted to the future can carry the shadows of its past, quietly intertwining with the present and leaving traces of history for those who pay attention. Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando, Florida, is widely celebrated for its unique blend of wildlife conservation, immersive theming, and thrilling attractions. Since opening in 1998, it has attracted millions of visitors eager to experience exotic animal exhibits, live shows, and elaborately themed lands such as Africa, Asia, Pandora, the world of Avatar, and Dinoland USA. Guests are drawn to the park for its adventure, education, and connection to nature. Yet beneath the vibrant life of the park lies a more mysterious and unsettling side. Over the years, some visitors and employees have reported encounters with the paranormal, particularly in the park's older attractions and backstage areas. These experiences suggest that even a park dedicated to life and exploration may harbor echoes of the past. Reports of paranormal activity at Animal Kingdom often focus on older attractions, areas that were part of the park during its earliest years, and locations that see less frequent foot traffic. Guests have described fleeting, shadowy figures moving along pathways, near observation areas, or around older rides. These figures are usually seen in the corner of the eye and disappear when directly approached, leaving a lingering sense of being watched. Some visitors report sudden drops in temperature or the sensation of an unseen presence as they navigate certain areas, creating a stark contrast to the lively and colorful atmosphere elsewhere in the park. Certain attractions have become focal points for these reports. Older rides and animal exhibits are often cited as locations where guests have experienced unexplained phenomena. Some visitors describe glimpsing shadowy figures in ride queues, seeing movement inside unoccupied buildings, or feeling as if someone is walking just behind them along the pathways. Employees who work after hours, particularly maintenance staff and security personnel, report doors opening and closing on their own, flickering lights, and the subtle shifting of equipment without human intervention. Backstage areas, which are less visible to the public, are frequently mentioned as locations where these phenomena are concentrated, suggesting that certain spaces may hold residual energy or lingering presences from the park's past. Auditory anomalies are a common feature of the reported hauntings at Animal Kingdom. Guests and employees alike have heard footsteps echoing in empty corridors, whispers that seem to come from nowhere, and faint laughter or murmurs near older attractions. Some describe hearing the hum of machinery or the subtle sounds of rides in operation when they are powered down. In other cases, voices seem to follow visitors along quiet pathways, rising and falling unpredictably. These sounds often accompany sightings of shadowy figures or sudden chills, reinforcing the sense that something unseen may be present within the park. Animal Kingdom's long history and extensive use help explain why these phenomena might occur. Since opening, the park has hosted millions of guests and employed thousands of people, creating a complex web of human activity and emotion over decades. Paranormal theorists suggest that high-energy locations with repeated human interaction can retain residual impressions of past events, a phenomenon known as residual haunting. These echoes replay without conscious intent, leaving perceptible traces for those sensitive to the environment. Others propose that spirits of former employees or even visitors may linger, drawn to areas that held significance during their lives. The park's older attractions and less frequented areas are repeatedly cited in reports, indicating that the structures themselves may carry a subtle, lingering presence. Certain sections of the park appear to be more active than others. Older rides, animal observation zones, and backstage corridors are frequently mentioned as hotspots for sightings and unexplained activity. Guests have described sudden chills while passing through these areas, the fleeting impression of movement at the edge of vision, or the sense of being followed by an invisible presence. Employees working near older attractions often recount minor disturbances, such as objects moving slightly, flickering lights, or a fleeting touch by something unseen. Even quiet seating areas and shaded walkways in older portions of the park have been noted for an unusual energy, creating a sense of tension that contrasts sharply with the vibrant activity elsewhere. Paranormal investigators have occasionally visited Animal Kingdom to document these phenomena. Using cameras, audio recorders, and thermal imaging, they have captured anomalies that correspond with eyewitness reports. Shadowy figures appear in photographs near older rides or backstage areas. Unexplained cold spots are detected in frequently reported locations, and faint audio captures footsteps or whispers in areas that are otherwise empty. While skeptics may argue that environmental factors, structural noise, or imagination explain some occurrences, the consistency and specificity of reports over time suggests that some areas of Animal Kingdom may hold phenomena beyond the ordinary. Visitors occasionally encounter subtle paranormal moments during normal park visits. A sudden chill along a sunlit path, the impression of a figure just outside one's vision, or a faint whisper in a quiet corridor can leave a lasting impression. Employees with years of experience often report similar encounters, describing certain areas as charged or distinctly different from the rest of the park. These fleeting experiences add a quiet layer of mystery to the park, existing alongside its wildlife exhibits and immersive attractions. Despite these strange occurrences, Animal Kingdom remains a thriving destination for adventure, education, and entertainment. Its rides, animal exhibits, and immersive environments continue to draw millions of visitors each year, providing excitement, wonder, and a connection to nature. Yet beneath the park's vibrant surface lies a quieter, more enigmatic side. Ghostly figures near older attractions, unexplained footsteps, and fleeting sounds remind visitors and staff alike that even a park dedicated to life and wildlife can carry echoes of the past, quietly intertwined with the present and leaving subtle traces of its history for those who notice. Joyland Amusement Park in Wichita, Kansas, is a place where nostalgia and unease intertwine. Opened in 1949, Joyland became a staple of summer entertainment for generations of families, offering classic amusement park attractions like roller coasters, Ferris wheels, carousels, and carnival games. The park was alive with the sounds of laughter, the scent of popcorn, and the thrill of rides that spun and soared under the open Kansas sky. For decades, it brought joy and excitement to thousands of visitors, leaving behind countless memories of childhood wonder. However, by 2004, the park closed its gates permanently due to financial struggles and maintenance issues, leaving its rides, buildings, and walkways to decay. Over the years, Joyland has transformed from a beloved amusement destination into one of the most notorious haunted locations in the region, drawing thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts intrigued by its eerie atmosphere. The abandoned rides and structures of Joyland now stand as skeletal reminders of a time long past. Among the most iconic is the carousel, once the heart of the park's charm. Though the horses no longer spin and the music no longer plays, reports of paranormal activity have made it a focal point for ghost stories. Visitors describe hearing faint carousel music echoing through the silent grounds, the sound rising and falling without any mechanical source. Some have reported seeing the carousel horses rocking slightly as if ridden by invisible children, and shadowy figures sometimes appear near the platform, vanishing when approached. These fleeting glimpses leave a lasting impression, as though the park itself refuses to let go of the laughter and joy it once hosted. The Ferris wheel, towering over the abandoned park, is another frequent site of paranormal sightings. Explorers often report seeing ghostly silhouettes seated in the empty cars, staring silently as the wheel creaks in the wind. Some claim to feel sudden cold drafts when approaching the ride, accompanied by the sensation of being watched. At twilight, when the sun casts long shadows across the deserted grounds, spectral children are said to run between rides, their laughter carried on the breeze. These apparitions are often fleeting, disappearing into the darkness. Yet the sense of presence remains, lending the park a haunting, surreal quality. Metallic clanging, distant screams, and unexplained noises are reported regularly by those who venture into Joyland after dark. The sounds echo across the empty walkways and abandoned structures, often coinciding with moments of intense unease. Some explorers hear footsteps following them along the midway, only to find no one there. Others describe hearing the jingle of carnival games, the thump of ride machinery, or the faint murmur of crowds long gone. These auditory experiences, combined with the visual sightings of shadows and ghostly figures, create an atmosphere of suspense and mystery that has become synonymous with Joyland's haunted reputation. The park's carnival games and midway areas add another layer to its eerie allure. Rusting booths, tattered prize displays, and broken signage create a surreal, almost dreamlike environment. Visitors sometimes report fleeting shadows darting between stalls or the sound of coins dropping into non-existent machines. The atmosphere is often described as bittersweet, a mix of nostalgia for the past and the unsettling sense that something unseen still inhabits the grounds. The overgrown paths and crumbling structures enhance the feeling of abandonment, turning every corner into a potential encounter with the unexplained. Local legends surrounding Joyland further intensify its haunted reputation. Residents of Wichita often recount stories of ghostly children who roam the park at twilight, invisible to the casual passerby, but undeniable to those who linger. Shadowy figures near the carousel, Ferris wheel, and roller coaster tracks are said to mimic the movements of past visitors, replaying fragments of joy and mischief frozen in time. Some speculate that the energy of decades of human activity, laughter, and excitement may have left residual imprints on the park, creating what paranormal investigators refer to as residual hauntings. Others believe the spirits of former employees or guests may have lingered, unable or unwilling to leave a place that once meant so much. Paranormal enthusiasts and urban explorers have flocked to Joyland in hopes of documenting its unusual activity. Cameras sometimes capture shadowy figures or movement near rides, while audio recorders pick up faint laughter, footsteps, or clanging sounds that have no discernible source. Thermal imaging has detected sudden cold spots in areas associated with sightings, reinforcing claims of paranormal activity. While skeptics attribute some experiences to imagination, environmental noise, or structural settling, the consistency of reports from independent witnesses suggests that Joyland retains a haunting energy that cannot be easily explained. Visitors to the abandoned park often describe a feeling of being followed or watched while navigating the grounds. Shadows moving at the edge of vision, sudden drops in temperature, and the sound of unseen footsteps can create a heightened sense of awareness and anxiety. Even the daytime experience of walking among rusting rides and overgrown pathways can feel surreal, as if stepping into a world caught between memory and the spectral presence of the past. The park's decayed attractions, quiet corners, and silent midway make it a magnet for those drawn to the mysterious and the unexplained. Despite the decay and haunting, Joyland's legacy endures. Its stories of ghostly children, spectral figures near the carousel and Ferris wheel, and unexplained sound screams, laughter, and metallic clanging have ensured that the park remains a point of fascination. Generations remember the joy it once brought, while thrill seekers and paranormal enthusiasts continue to explore its abandoned grounds, hoping for a glimpse of the eerie and the unexplained. Joyland may no longer operate, but its presence lingers in the shadows of Wichita, a place where memory, mystery, and the supernatural intertwine in an unforgettable and haunting way. And there you have it, 26 of the most haunted amusement parks, where the thrill of the ride has long since faded, leaving only whispers, shadows, and the restless echoes of the past. From ghostly children at Lake Shawnee to spectral figures on abandoned coasters in Joyland, these parks remind us that some places hold memories so strong they refuse to die. Whether you're a paranormal investigator, a history buff, or just someone who enjoys a good spine-chilling story, these haunted amusement parks offer a glimpse into the thin veil between the living and the dead. So next time you visit a carnival or ride a Ferris wheel, keep your eyes open, because somewhere, just beyond the laughter, the ghosts of joy and sorrow may still be riding along. These parks, abandoned or alive with visitors, are monuments to the eerie, the tragic, and the unforgettable. Their stories continue to haunt the imagination, proving that sometimes the scariest rides are the ones that never really end.